On this episode of Tasty Cast, we'll be discussing game releases, be watching Palia, how do you say that, official announcement trailer, and discussing it. We will be talking about cross-gen games. I know it's been a topic lately. Games that are coming out on PS4 and PS5. So if you have an opinion on that, which I'm sure you do, make sure to stick around for that conversation and let us know in the comments what you think of it, of course. And of course, we'll be reading your comments. But before we do that, make sure to download and play Operation Tango, Virtua Fighter 5, Ultimate Showdown, Star Wars Squadrons, all off for free on PlayStation Plus. Make sure to download those, play those, come back at the end of the month for Plus Club. Let us know what you thought of those games. We'll let you know what we thought of them. It's a new month, so new games, obviously. And with that as well, Game of the Month is Minecraft, randomly picked. I'm sure Chevy and Chris are very happy about that. We'll be playing that as well and talking about that on Game of the Month at the end of the month. And yeah, we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel further than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new. And we are on audio platforms, Spotify, iTunes, everything else if you'd like to listen to this podcast and other podcasts that we put out. All right, let's get into the first Taste Cast of June. What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 143 of the Tasty Cast, our weekly podcast where we talk about things, react to things, do a bunch of random shit. My name's Seth, and joining me today is Chevy, of course, to my left, your right, and up in the box we got Chris. How you guys doing?
Good. Weekend.
Oh, yeah. Chris was having some audio issues, but we got them all figured out. We got them fixed just for you guys. Give us a thumbs up just for that.
I'm also tired.
Very tired, yeah. It seems to be a typical thing around here. But, we're all staying up late, playing games, all this shit, getting old, we're dying. Makes sense. We got a lot to cover today, though, so we should probably just jump into it. And it is the first Taste Cast of the month, so of course we're going to jump into game releases. And, we're going to read from this list. We're going to tell you what games are coming out, and we're going to discuss what we're hyped for and what we're not hyped for. So, okay, game releases. We actually pulled up a list that was just PS4, PS5 games, but now we have a list for everything, so let's just jump into it. We got Elder Scrolls Online Blackwood, came out June 1st for PC and Stadia. Stonefly on June 1st, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Wreckfest on PS5 June 1st. That seems weird because we played that last month. World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic June 1st, PC. Operation Tango June 1st, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, and Xbox One. It's also one of the Plus games, so make sure to download that and play that. Come back to the end of the month. Talk about it with us. Tour de France 2021, June 3rd, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Pro Cycling Manager 2021, and everybody's dying to play that. June 3rd, PC, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, June 4th on PC, PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. I didn't know they were making that. DC Superhero Girls Teen Power, June 4th, Switch. The Persistence Enhanced, June 4th, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Chivalry 2, June 8th, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4, PS5, PC. Elder Scrolls Online Blackwood, June 8th. It says it up there. Oh, for Xbox, PS4, Xbox One, PS5, and Series X, but no S, apparently. Elder Scrolls Online is coming out on PS5, Xbox Series X on June 8th. Very interesting. Ninja Gaiden Master Edition, June 10th on Switch. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrated, June 10th, PS5. We Are Football. Of course we are. June 10th, PC. Guilty Gear Strive is coming out June 11th on PC, PS5, PS4. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, also June 11th. Ooh, that's a banger day. June 11th, PS5. Only PS5. Oh, yeah, that's Ratchet & Clank. I was looking at Guilty Gear again. I just got Guilty Gear on the mind, apparently. Legend of Mana, June 24th. It's a huge jump in days. PC, PS4, Switch, Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX, June 24th. PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch. Rogue Book, June 24th on PC. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, June 25th on Switch. Mario Golf Super Rush coming out June 25th, Switch. DreamWorks Spirit, Lucky's Big Adventure, June 25th, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Scarlet Nexus comes out on June 25th, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One. Destroy Destroy All Humans comes out on Switch June 29th. Curved Space June 29th. PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One. A Tale of Synapse, The Chaos Theories, June 30th. Switch and PC. Rico or Ryko, whatever you want to say, London, June to be announced. PS5, PS4, Switch. And World Splitter and Sam & Max are also games that are apparently going to come out in June, but they don't know. On PC is Sam & Max, and World Splitter is Xbox One. Yeah, I kind of lost myself reading all that, so I got to fucking remember where I'm at real quick. Any of those games sound cool to you guys? Anything you're not looking forward to? Avoiding like the plague? And anything in the middle?
Go down the list real quick here. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I'm going to be picking up for sure. Kind of curious to see how that all gets put in storyline wise. Also, it'd be interesting to see how she feels, since they did a pretty good job in Final Fantasy VII Remake of making all the characters feel different.
Talking about Yuffie?
Yeah.
Yeah, we said she feels like who, but yeah, that makes sense.
Definitely picking up Guilty Gear Strive and Ratchet and Clank. That's going to be an expensive day.
Yep.
Been looking forward to both those games. I got a chance to play one of the betas for Guilty Gear Strive. That game feels really good. So,
I saw on Twitter somebody's developing a new fighting game that was on like Unreal Engine 5 or something. It looked really good. I was like, that's fucking dope. Somebody's making a fighting game. There's like not enough.
That's a tough market, yeah.
It's like 5 games. Well, Ark's system, wherever the hell, fucking they make a bunch, but
yeah,
you know, the ones that are popular got like 2.
Legend of Mana, I also would like to pick up, and there's a nice break in between games there, so hopefully I'll have financially the ability to pick that one up at that point.
Yeah, fucking for anybody listening, game releases jumps from June 11th all the way to the 24th.
Yeah,
it's probably E3. So
it is,
they're probably just
E3.
avoiding doing all their announcements. That's actually exactly what it is.
Yeah. And then Scarlet Nexus I'm interested in.
You play the demo?
Nope.
Pretty neat. Pretty neat. In fact, I need to put that on my list of games I'm playing. Chris, anything screaming at you?
There's a few things. The Elder Scrolls Online. I've been looking at that. The Ninja Gaiden Master Edition sounds really fun. I really like those old Ninja Gaiden games a lot. Guilty Gear Strive. I'm a big Guilty Gear fan, so I'm excited to play that. Although I'm debating whether or not to buy it on console or PC. Legends of Mana is a really big one. I'm definitely going to buy that one right away. And then I got a little special list of games I'd like to get, but I can't because they're PlayStation 5 exclusives, and I don't have a PlayStation 5. So like Ratchet and Clank and Final Fantasy VII Remake. But I don't have access to those since I can't get my hands on a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for a little bit too, which sucks. But apparently they're making, which is kind of wild, a different version of the PS5. It's going to be the exact same looking or something, but the internals are going to be different because of the chip or whatever that they can't get. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, that's wild. The PS5 I have is essentially a collector's item at this point.
Happened with the PS3 as well, though.
Well, and it also kind of happened with the Xbox 360 because they had to put the Falcon chip in because of the red rings.
Yep.
So it's not unprecedented, but it's still weird.
For sure.
Yeah, it's weird to think about.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else?
I'm going to avoid We Are Football like the plague.
Fair.
But we are football.
How can you avoid football
there's
when
no
we are football?
There's no we. No we.
Are we
this
not
is
we?
We're not communists, all right? This is I am not
True.
football, not
True.
We are not. You're correct.
We are not communists. Yeah, so fuck, there's a lot of things going here. Well, Wreckfest is coming out June 1st apparently for PS5. I played it somehow and it's pretty dope. So I will be playing that more, and if you're thinking about picking that up on June 1st, definitely check that out. And you missed out because you could have got it for free on PlayStation Plus. Elder Scrolls Online Blackwood, I already bought it. I've been playing. We'll talk about that, but I do plan on playing that more. And Operation Tango, we'll talk about that as well. How I haven't played that yet, but I want to play that. Let's see. Tour de France, definitely not interested in that. I like I said France. That's how they say it. Tour de France. my American accent should be like Tour de France. Chivalry 2. Definitely excited to play that. I liked the original Chivalry. So I want to see what they do with that. I watched some videos. It pretty much looks just like Chivalry except for better graphics, but definitely buying that very soon. Ninja Gaiden I'm kind of interested in. I wasn't the biggest Ninja Gaiden fan back in the day, but I liked it. It's like the OG original, like I remember during that time games were so easy and people were complaining all the time because that was during the time where they were exploring how to make standard tutorials nowadays. And so everything was just holding your hand and going like, press X here, do this, do that. And people are like, these games are boring. They're just like escort missions. The game just walking me through Disneyland. These games are, shit. And then Ninja Gaiden came out and they're like, this game's hard. This game's too hard. Make it easy. And they're like, fuck you. And they made it harder. And then, of course, Dark Souls and shit came after that. So I always kind of appreciated Ninja Gaiden for going like, well, we'll offer you something difficult. Plus, it's Team Ninja, so they know how to make fluid-ass combat. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to hope this sparks my interest in fucking just beating Final Fantasy VII on my PS5. Did that upgrade come out?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I think it comes out the same day. But
Yeah. So I'm saving myself for that. But I do plan on being Final Fantasy VII, Jeremy. I promise. I'm one. He's like, I don't think you're gonna do it, and I'm like, I'm 100% gonna do it. I want to beat that game. Now the pressure's on. Guilty Gear Strive, I'm gonna let you buy, and I'm gonna play it. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I want to play that. I'm gonna buy it. Legend of Mana, definitely gonna pick up. Let's see. There's something else. Scarlet Nexus, definitely want to pick that up. I've been playing the demo, and it's pretty neat. And yeah, I think that's everything. I could have swore something else was coming out this month, but it was on that PS4 list and not this list. So, oh well, let us know in the comments if there's a game that was not on this list. But yeah, that's what I want to play. Any all the sports shit, I don't give a fuck about. I'm not playing that. I'm not playing that shit. Stop making those games.
You don't have to play.
I'm not. Yeah. Well, we already are it. So what do I need to buy your game for? If I'm football, fucking think about that before you name your game. We Are Football. What the hell is your problem? So let me know in the comments, what games are you guys picking up? What games were not on this list possibly, because I feel like there's a game that's coming out this month that's not on this fucking list. And Wreckfest is on there, so maybe they got those mixed up. And yeah, what are you stoked about? What are you not stoked about? And let me know everything you think about in the comments below. I'm going to use this opportunity real quick before we jump into what we've been playing to let you guys know, I probably should have said this in the beginning of the episode, E3's coming up. You guys know this already, and it's going to be fucking huge. I think this is going to be a gigantic E3 because 2020 sucked, as everybody knows, and E3 didn't happen. And all these companies not only didn't have big announcements to make, but also had problems even fucking working on the games they're already working on. All these delays, all this shit. So I think 2020 or 2021 is going to be huge for game releases, but also just announcing shit. I think we're going to get some big announcements. With that said, Tastecast may not be happening that week. It's a very good possibility it won't happen at all, because we're going to have a lot from this Tastecast on. There's going to be big announcements coming out. So just kind of, hang out, watch all these reactions we're going to be doing. But yeah, Tastecast is going to be rough to do with the amount of shit that's going to be coming out in the next 2 weeks. So
yeah, as soon as it starts, I'm going to have to not be on Discord or Twitter, which sucks. But
yeah, for sure. And in our Discord, I mean, people in there pretty much know how things go. But if you want to talk about the things before we reacted to them, we would very much appreciate it if you would post that in Game Hype only, and we could just avoid that one section, not the whole Discord. Be very appreciated. Thank you. So yeah, just want to kind of throw that out there. E3's coming up. Bear with us as we are going to be all over the place when it comes to episodes. With that said, let's jump into what we've been playing. I can probably go full screen for this. Where we talk about the games we've been playing. And I got 2 games to talk about, so let's start with Chris. I saw him moving. I was like a T-Rex. I saw your head shaking. I'm like, Chris.
I got 7 games I can talk about here.
Ooh, shit. Every time I got no games to talk about, you got a bunch of games. Why are we switching spots? Every time I got a bunch of games, you got I've been playing 3 games.
It's because I'm unemployed and I just kind of do nothing all day.
Plenty of time, yeah.
Got the time. So I've been playing Final Fantasy 14. I managed to finish my relic weapon for Scholar. It's a fancy book with glowy lights coming off of it as per usual.
I'm glad
and
you,
of course
you
I had to
explained it to
reglam.
me like I'm a 5-year-old because I needed that. Because I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I like RGB lighting.
It's the best weapon in the expansion form.
It's really, these weapons are really like interesting because it's the base weapons from before, and then they just have like really simple shapes coming off of them. It's very interesting. It's literally, I just feel like big teardrops in the shape of a flower coming off the front of the book, and the back of it just has like a little vine crawling out the side. But they're very like solid colors and simple shapes coming off them. It's a really unique look to the weapons for the game. And of course, I had to reglam my character to match my weapon. So that was the thing I spent hours doing. I've been playing ESO, or Elder Scrolls Online, lately.
You too, huh?
I have a little bit here and there, nothing crazy. I got a Necromancer tank. That is basically my main character. It takes a long time for me to kill anything, but I'm mortal. I don't die. It's just not possible. It's weird. It's really weird.
Dude, my DPS Necromancer has a hard time dying because I spec'd in some of his, like, take fucking health when you hit people shit, and I'm just, like, constantly siphoning health from people.
Yeah. I got the Spectral Scythe thing that just AoE life steals, and got the Bone Armor, which is just, take no damage, and it's really cool. I really like this a lot. I'm not quite sure how tanking works in this game because I don't feel like I have moves that, like, really generate aggro or threat, per se. But I have the Bone Armor mutation or whatever, where if they hit me with ranged attacks, it pulls them to me. So it's really cool to keep ranged characters up close. That's fun.
There's a video that got recommended to me because I've been watching a lot of ESO stuff, obviously, and it was like 7 things beginners in ESO get wrong, and like one of them was like when you're playing with a group. Don't use call moves, like don't pull aggro. That's something that beginners get wrong in ESO all the time. I'm like, that's kind of a fucking thing in MMOs in general you shouldn't be doing. But anyway, the reason I even bring that up is because he was talking about there's 2 moves that beginners shouldn't be picking, and one of them was a like shout move that gets enemies to come to you, and then another one was like a pull move of some kind. So there is definitely tank moves. I think they're associated with Sword and Shield though. I don't know, because he was saying if you want to do DPS in this game, don't touch Sword and Shield. I thought it's funny as well, though, that he's like basically telling people how MMOs work. It's like, this is a beginner's problem in ESO. I'm like, no. If you don't get that, you need to someone needs to sit down and go, okay, all MMOs pretty much outside of Guild Wars 2, and even there pretty much, don't do that.
Yeah, I'm sure the game attracted a lot of people who weren't MMO players initially, though.
Oh, 100%. When the game came out, people were like, this isn't Skyrim. I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking MMO. It's not even the same people. Anyway, not to go into tangent, but...
But yeah, I've been doing that. I'm dabbling here and there with different characters. I got a weird one made by my Twitch chat where they voted for an Argonian Templar caster. Yeah, it was Chevy. It was all Chevy. Chevy won all the polls.
Nice.
But yeah, I just kind of traipse about and do little shit here and there. I don't really focus too deep on the story or the lore of everything because it's a little overwhelming with how much side quests there are and trying to follow every little story's details.
Well, Elder Scrolls is already like very lore rich and like a lot of MMOs, but like it definitely explores a lot of that, and there is a shitload of side quests. The game's designed that when you walk over a hill, somebody's like running up going like, hey, comrade, help me out. I'm like, I'm not a communist. I just walk past them. But then I walk like 2 feet away and someone's like, oh, God, I got attacked. And I'm sitting here next to a tree. And I'm like, I guess I'll fucking talk to you. And it's like, go over here. And then I turn in that quest. Someone's like, but by the way, thanks for bringing him. But by the way, I need something done. I need you to go fucking kill this guy for me. I'm like, I don't do that. And it's like, oh, you don't? You're not an assassin? No, I'm not playing that. So yeah, it definitely has a lot of side shit to do. I'm constantly like abandoning quests when I have too many, because I'm like,
I believe that. I'll
just do these organically when I go back to that zone, because the game's kind of set up to like feel organic like that.
I definitely have a pattern of now where I just pick one quest and I go complete that quest and I come back and I won't pick up any side quests or anything else until I end that quest. And if there's something around me I can pick up, I'll grab it and kind of breadcrumb trail my way through it.
Yeah, I had to recalibrate my brain because I was like, this game is trying to be like Elder Scrolls. It's trying to be like Skyrim. It's trying to be like Morrowind. And so, like, I should only be doing these side quests if I'm feeling like doing that side quest, like, right now. Don't pick it up for later. Like, do it now. Because the game wants you to go on these adventures and shit. So I stick to the storyline quests, and there's a lot of them. There's not even like there is a mainline quest, but there's also, because the expansions, different storyline quests in different zones you can do at any time. So I have like 3 different story quests happening right now. And then, like, you know, some random person will come and be like, hey, comrade. I'm like, no, not you. I just keep going, and somebody else comes up and they're like, hey, you look like somebody can get some stuff done. I'm like, well, yeah, kinda. And then I go do their quest. I do it for like an hour. I'm just gone for a while. Yep.
That's about all I do. I hop in, pick a quest or 2, and just kind of wander. I'm a nomad.
So you're playing a Necromancer tank. I'm playing DPS Necromancer, which is something that's interesting about this game is every single class in this game can be anything. They all have a tree that can spec into DPS, tank, or healer, which is really kind of neat because me and you can both play Necromancer and have completely different jobs. What do you think about... you were kind of already talking about it earlier, but what do you think about like the Necromancer's moveset, but also like the combat in general?
The combat is definitely, and the only example I can give you, it's Skyrim. That's the only Elder Scrolls game I've played. So you can zoom into first person and play it that way, or you can zoom the camera out and play third person. But it is that same kind of like, you know, hold or click left click to swing, right click to block, hold left click to do heavy attacks, and then you just have the spells are really neat. Overall for Necromancer, I really like the theme with it. I think they encapsulated that idea of Necromancer really well. You even get penalties for being in town if you cast certain Necromancer spells. So that lore is really there of like, you know, you're not supposed to be a Necromancer.
Oh, I've been in trouble a couple times.
Same. I hit R instead of E and turned into a big bone golem in a town once, and that was a bad time. Real bad time.
Yeah, when I first started looking through my spells in just big red letters, it's like, this is an illegal spell. Don't do it in town. I'm like, oh, shit. And so, like, I play on a controller because it plays really... they're trying to get people who aren't in MMOs, and the game plays very well on a controller. I kind of really like it. So I was playing on a controller, and B is obviously to go back in menus, but it's also mapped to one of my moves. I hit it twice. I got out of the menu. My guy started casting shit, and people got pissed like, fuck! And I'm like, all right, I'll pay the fine. I was like, that's a fucking... that's a stupid reason to have to pay money. It's like, I didn't mean to press B. I'm sorry. They're like, Necromancer, huh? Piggy bank. Like, fuck.
Yeah. But yeah. So it feels very much like I'm playing Skyrim on an MMO surface. So it's fun, though. It's a lot of fun. They do a
really good job because it's absolutely an MMO, but they're emulating an action RPG in a way that I think is pretty good. They kind of sell that because you can like block moves, which will stun the enemy, or when they're getting ready to cast, you can interrupt by blocking and then shoving them. And so there's like kind of these actiony elements to it. And even the first person mode, I sometimes go into it, even though obviously it's an MMO, I don't want to play like that. Some of the puzzles, though, you have to. It's like, look at the symbols. I'm like, I can't see them from fucking up in the sky. So I like go into first person. I'm like, oh yeah, these are all detailed. Or like this hologram happened. It's like, watch the video, and I'm like, or the hologram. I'm like, I can't see it. So I like zoomed in. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a whole thing happening here. But I really appreciate the detailing of like your hands in front of you, like you're playing Skyrim essentially. All your weapons have the moves in front of you for first person, stuff like that. Like in a lot of MMOs, it's just like first person, and you're just watching the stuff get, you know, the spells being done and people taking damage. But in this, they actually went out of their way to make first person feel like it was something that's developed for. Outside of riding mounts, for some reason you can't be in first person, which sucks. Probably 'cause the amount of mounts and different sizes and shit. But yeah. So the combat is really interesting in the sense that it feels actiony. Even in first person, it can kind of give you that illusion. I feel like someone who's, even though it's not a casual MMO, I feel like someone who's casually possibly exploring MMOs, you could like just give them the controller, put in first person, be like, it's Skyrim, and they go, okay.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. You could anybody who enjoys the Skyrim mode of gameplay can easily hop into this game, and you don't even have to interact with people. You can just wander around, like you said, and just quest. Like half the time, I forget I'm playing an MMO until I run into a dungeon. There's 80 people in there.
I think that's the big reason why I've been playing it nonstop lately, is because like it is an MMO. It plays and feels like an MMO, but it also feels like I'm playing a single player RPG because it has that illusion of the action combat, and also like the questing is like actually very interesting, and it gets better later. Some of the early stuff's kind of whatever, but it does have this kind of organic feel of me being on an adventure, like I'm playing a game like Witcher or something. So it's very solo friendly as well. The game tells you like when you're like on the website, like you can play this by yourself or with friends, like doesn't matter. And they just added companions where you can have like a party now. You know, like you don't even have to have people. So yeah, it's a really easy game to just play by yourself.
Yeah, lots of fun. Really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been playing. I downloaded it the other day because it was on Game Pass, and it was a Plus game at one point, but I didn't get to play it because it's only for PlayStation 5. I've been playing Maneater lately.
Oh, interesting.
Shark chompy game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's very arcadey. Gonna hop in, do a couple things, hop out. So enjoying that a little bit here and there. I managed to get a copy for cheap of Borderlands 3. And since I've played the first two quite extensively, actually the first three because I played the prequel as well. I got this and I'm enjoying myself so far. I'm a little reserved just because of what I've heard about the game. But I'm taking it as more of just I want to hop in and shoot things and not really too hard focus on story, which I heard is the issue with a lot of people. But so far, it's definitely Borderlands as far as gameplay goes, so I'm enjoying it.
I think it's the best Borderlands when it comes to gameplay. But the story I think is fucking horrendous, and a lot of people agree. And then other people are like, I don't get what the big deal is. I'm like, well, that's fine. Like, just enjoy the game then. I'm not going to sit here and try and make you hate the game.
Yeah, I would say that's totally an opinion thing. So.
Yeah, well, a lot of people won't have that discussion. They'll be like, this is why I hate it. And like, well, just let them. If they like it, fucking who cares?
Let them, yeah.
Unless they want to have that conversation. But most of the time, there's like, I don't get it. Well, you don't need to. You can just play the game and enjoy it if you like it. I'm not going to persuade you to not like the game. I wish more people were like that. But yeah, the game plays great. The weapons are cool. They even put like more emphasis on the companies having specialty stuff than before. It's just, yeah, that story, I really dislike that fucking story. I hate it. But gameplay is dope. And you're playing that you got on Steam?
Yeah.
I literally just uninstalled that game. I should reinstall it. Every time I uninstall a game, someone's like, I got it. I'm like, fuck. I gotta stop uninstalling games. Every time I do it, someone's like, hey. But that's a game that I would like to play more because I bought it on PC as well. And since I bought it on PC, I haven't played with anybody. So
I won't buy it.
I should definitely play it. Yeah, Chevy's anti-fun.
I just can't play Borderlands anymore, man.
It does. You will feel the same playing this too. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with
absolutely.
Borderlands. I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I've also been playing a little bit, not as heavily as I used to, some League of Legends. A friend of mine got me to play that with them recently, and I can play like a match or two, and then I'm done because I'm stressed out and I'm nervous about not doing well. And it shows because I haven't played the game in forever, so mechanics are rusty at best for me, and there's a lot of new characters in it that I don't know what they do, and that's kind of like a lot of gameplay is knowing what your opponent can do and when to counter those things. So I just kind of take it for what it is and just kind of stress through it while playing it. Even though I'm having a stress attack, I'm also having some fun.
I forgot that game existed.
Yeah, they're doing a couple events in the game. They do it periodically. Right now they're doing a Pride event, so like you can get like icons and things like that. And now when you have certain icons equipped and your character runs out of the base, they'll have like a little trail of. I have the gay Pride one, so I have a rainbow that follows me for a short while as I exit the base, which is kind of fun. Cosmetic pieces.
That's cool. They even added that.
Crazy. Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. I like it. I like flair like that. Being able to make your character look unique. It's fun. I've also been playing, again, not as much as I used to, but a little here and there, Overwatch. They're having their anniversary event right now, so just kind of hop in there and play in the PvE modes. I don't really focus too much on PvP in that game anymore. The skins are kind of, this time around, are okay. They're not great, but they're not bad either. They're just meh. Nothing really crazy for me.
I like how this month you're just like Kratos or John Wick, and you're like going down in your basement and like taking the hammer and breaking open the concrete and opening the old box of all the shit you used to do. Oh yeah, I didn't think I'd return to this, and fucking you're pulling out League of Legends and fucking Overwatch and shit.
Where's the time capsule? And to play on that theme some more, I've been playing Pokemon Sword lately.
Yeah, you have.
All the Pokemons. But
we gotta just make sure to just say all the Pokemons. Playing catch 'em all, just all the Pokemons. Everybody's identified with like,
You can be Ash. I'll be Misty. Chevy can be Brock.
Don't be
perfect.
Ash never wins.
That's fine. I'm okay with. Actually, I want to win, but
Yeah, I'll say that would drive you crazy being Ash.
I'll handle it. All right.
Always being nice to people and never winning.
Yeah, it sounds kind of rough. Honestly.
But yeah, that's all the games I've been playing lately.
It's a respectable list. A lot of cool games there. Let's go with Chevy.
Okay. It's been a while since we did a Tasty Cast, so I've played a few things, but I'm only going to mention a couple. So, also been playing a lot of Pokemon Sword. I finally picked it up because a community member was talking about it a bunch, and at the end of the day, I just really like Pokemon games, so I finally just did it. I bought the expansion pass as well for it, and I sat down and I beat it in like 2 days. So apparently I had the itch that needed scratched when I started playing.
But you won't play Temtem.
I will. That's a game that I was playing with you, so I stopped playing it because neither of us take the initiative to.
Dude, on stream, people are like, "Well, are you gonna play Temtem?" I'm like, I'm waiting for Chevy. So apparently we're both just...
Yeah, we just need to set up a day.
Yeah.
I'm now at the point where I'm trying to fill out my base Pokédex so I can get the shiny charm, so I can start hunting for shinies. And I did a little bit of the first DLC, which I believe is the Isle of Armor, where I'm at the point now where I was given a... I can't remember his name because there's almost 900 Pokemon, but little Kung Fu Bear thing.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. You have to raise its friendship to evolve it, so that's what I'm doing right now.
You'd be buddies with that.
Yeah, when you first see it, it hides behind its original owner. It does like the Tony. Oh, never mind. That's the One Piece reference you're not going to get.
Yep, right over my fucking head.
But yeah, so definitely have fun with that. I kind of been playing a lot when I'm done for the night and like winding down for bed. I can catch a couple Pokemon and then pass out. So it's been good for that. Also
Makes
playing
sense.
Final Fantasy 14 as usual. I'm not playing as much right now because we are in a content lull minus the relic grind, and I'm going to be honest, I can't handle the zone that this relic grind is in because it is just brown on brown on brown, and in this time they added a handful of trees in the middle of the zone, so the middle is nice, but the rest of it's just brown, and I can't look at dirt all day, so my mind goes numb from grinding on top of not having anything exciting to look at. Other than that, though, we had a weird raiding schedule the last few weeks, so we haven't really been able to do any progress, though we have continued to do, out of the 4 fights, the third one, and we've gotten to the point now for the last 2 weeks we've beat it within 1 to 2 tries. So
Yeah, it's been flying.
yeah, I've been doing
You're
it
like
really
raid
good.
night, and then 15 minutes later, you're just like, oh, it was fast.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good sign, but especially because one of our tanks, works a normal job, so
I know about that.
yeah, he needs to go to sleep anyways shortly after we're done. And then hopefully this Sunday we will start again learning the last fight. We've barely touched it, so we suck at it right now. Let's see what else. I also played a little bit of ESO. I don't have a lot to say on it. It's fun. It's a good hop-in game when it comes to MMO style games, because a lot of times in MMOs you get really you have to put time aside to play it, this game is really good about being able to do a section of a quest and then shut it off if you want to.
Depending on the quest, because I did some quests that lasted like a fucking hour.
Sure, but what I'm saying is a lot of them have like checkpoint system too, though. Where like so it's really easy to do part of a quest and then like be able to shut it off.
It is a very, I don't want to use the word casual, but it is a very console centric, accessible MMO.
I think accessible
that still has deeper elements. There's a lot to it, but it is very much like if you don't play MMOs, you could get into this and learn MMOs. Because it's all the same systems, but it's very accessible.
Well, I was going to say, it has the MMO systems for sure. Yeah. I'm not even trying to say it doesn't, but it definitely wants the people who play Elder Scrolls to be interested. I'm not the biggest Elder Scrolls fan, so that part's not that attractive to me. So I actually think the combat's okay at best, to be honest. But I do think the gameplay experience does a lot of things right, and I enjoy that, especially the ability to just play with your friends. Like, there's no restriction
really straightforward,
to that. Yeah. And I think that's a huge selling point for any game. So don't make it hard for me to play with people.
Yeah, the only thing you can't do with a friend is if there is a solo dungeon that's story based. Yep. In which everybody just goes does it and you just wait for them after it. But like if you're questing, you can just like share your quests, which is nothing revolutionary. You can do that in most MMOs. Some MMOs you can't do it very easily though. And this is very simple. You also just teleport to your friend wherever the fuck they're at. Yep. The game is set up that whatever level you're at, you're going to be fighting things your level and getting gear for your level no matter what. So if I'm with like a level 5 and I'm like level 50, we can play together. There's no restriction. So share the quest, go to their location, and then quest in that section of the whole map that you might not even been fucking around in.
Yeah, that specific part you were talking about with the being able to just play and get your difficulty and your loot, something I got to experience when I was playing Neo 2 with Chris as well. And
Division 2 does it.
I really appreciate that. So
yeah, it's an interesting system that's kind of been invented.
Yeah.
Borderlands 3 does it as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, and it's great because the worst thing about playing with, like, especially MMOs are long-term games, long-term, and so you got a friend that finally convinced you to play after 8 years, and they've just done everything. It's hard for them to play with you without rolling a new character.
Or like speed leveling you to the very end so you can catch up to where they're at and you can get to experience the game, which is so typical. Fun, really. It's like it's a really smart system for MMOs in general because that barrier of when you enter an MMO, whether you're like, I've already done everything in the games, why would I want? I can't really go back and help you, or like, I don't really want to play this because everybody's like fucking level 80 and I can't really play with you guys. It completely gets rid of that barrier. So it's a good system.
Minus like end game content, obviously, but the experience you still get to have. So
and dungeons unlock as you level up, stuff like that. But you can still start doing dungeons at 10, and like anyone can do those dungeons. And
so I guess I would just say if you like the idea of MMOs, but you like Western RPGs, I think you should try it.
It's a great mix of them.
Yeah, I think it blends the two really well, which is a lot more than I could say when I played the game in beta because it really didn't know what it was. So
yeah, when we both played ESO, that was the thing that was interesting coming back to this and enjoying as much as I do, is when we both played it when it came out. We played the beta, and I actually bought it when it came out and played it. It wasn't bad, it was just fucking overwhelmingly meh.
Yeah. Exactly.
It felt like every MMO that exists. It felt like every free-to-play MMO that existed at the time. Free-to-play was a little bit different than nowadays, where most MMOs are free-to-play. And now it's finally carved out what it should have been, and it's good because I'm not going to be like, you should have done this already. No, they did it and they nailed it. They nailed exactly what people wanted from it.
Also, and you're going to see this all over the internet anyways, but when it comes to like player housing for MMOs, ESO probably has the gold standard for it.
It's pretty cool.
Because as much as I love 14, I think it probably is one of the worst housing systems I've ever seen in the game. So
when the game started out, it's like, you have a house. I'm like, I have a house? Like, yeah, you got a house. I'm like, I just started playing. I'm like, yeah, you got a house. Go check it out. And I like go to this building. I'm like, where's the house? And they're like, it's upstairs. I'm like, my house is upstairs? Like, yeah, it's upstairs. I go upstairs to the door, and it's like, there's your house. I'm like, my house is in there. And I open it, and it's just like this little
closet.
It's like this fucking, it's a closet. I'm like looking around. I'm like, this is my fucking house. Like, yeah, this is your place.
Yeah, when I got mine, I was like, oh, this nitty, it's free. I mean, it's a room.
Well, yeah. Then I was like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then like I was showing Chris when he bought the game. I was like, hey, this is your room, and he's like, what? And I was like, I think there's a little person you talk to first, but this is your room. And he's like, I was like, just wait how you see how big it is. He goes in there. He's like, oh. just a little room.
It's a good response.
Then I just kind of walked in there and I took a piece of ivory that I'd gotten off the boss and I just put it on the floor. I was like, there, I decorated, and I left. I'm not much into decoration, so.
The game also gave me a second house. It's like, you got a second house. I'm like, oh shit, dope. I'm ready for my second house. And then I went to a whole other region. I found a whole other building, and it's like, go upstairs. I'm like, I go upstairs here too. It's like, yeah, your house is over there. I went upstairs, and it's a slightly bigger room. It looks different than my room, but it's in a different area. So I'm like, at first it's like, they keep putting me in these little fucking cardboard boxes, saying these are my house. But also, my dude's got like 2 apartments in this world. I'm kind of balling, honestly. Like, I can like go anywhere. But
you could eventually just buy big ass houses.
Well, I have explored. I really want to buy a house in Vardenfell, but near Saint Denis or something, Balmora. Just because nostalgia. But I've been looking at all the houses, kind of sampling around and seeing if I want to spend like real money on a fucking house in that game. But or just buy one in the game. But fucking, there's some crazy big houses that are like really dope that you could like really, because you can like bring your like pets and not like all sorts of shit and just decorate the house with all sorts of stuff. And there's some pretty extravagant places. So.
Which I think makes sense, and I'm glad they thought about it, because like me and you've discussed before, playing Elder Scrolls in general, kind of got used to the idea of like just going to a house, like, I like this, I think I'm going to take it, and then kill the owner and just live there.
But also you can buy houses in Elder Scrolls too. You can own places.
Well, they had that later.
Sure, but that's what people expect, so they did that, and so it has that Elder Scrolls feeling that you can have a house in a town or in a region, and it's great too if you've been playing, Morrowind, Oblivion, especially with Blackwood now, and
it has the guilds and stuff too,
and all that shit. If you've been playing these games, you can like live in these regions you're used to or ones you've never been to. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then the guild system is interesting as well. Like the Fighters Guild, as you're killing, I think it's Daedric monsters. Daedric? I can't remember. Kill a certain type of monster, you get points towards that guild, and then there's the Mages Guild, which if you read books, occasionally you get points towards that as well. So they really want you to kind of just wander around and explore. So.
And Thieves Guild actually encourages you to sneak around and steal shit. And then Assassins Guild, where the fuck.
And it has a fence system.
Yeah. Once you go kill people. And then there's a group called like the Undaunted or something. I don't know if that's an ESO thing, because I don't remember that from Elder Scrolls.
I don't recall that either.
But yeah, it's got all these different guild systems, which is dope.
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to feel right at home. And the only thing you're going to have to learn is MMO systems, which honestly, it doesn't lean too heavy on. So I think it's a pretty easy learning curve. So, yeah. I don't think I've played anything else that's really worth talking about. So I'm going to stop right there.
All right, for time's sake, I'm going to try and be fast about this. I played 2 games. I played Scarlet Nexus demo. Well, I've actually, that's not true. I played, what are the games of the Virtua Fighter 5? I played that. I'll talk about that at the end of the month. I played Star Wars Squadrons. I'll talk about that at the end of the month. And I haven't played Operation Tango yet because I need somebody to play it with. But I am looking forward to playing that because I think it's a neat idea. I have installed Minecraft. So yeah, played Scarlet Nexus demo. It's pretty cool. The combat's really interesting. It's not as fast and fluid as Nier, but it is like a third-person run around, swing your sword at people thing. But the visual style is cool because there's like almost like a light behind your weapon when you swing, but it's not curved; it's squared. So when you're swinging, it's got like this very stylistic look to it. There's a lot of like jumping around and like uppercutting with your weapon and attacking dudes, but also you can like, there's cars and all sorts of shit everywhere, and you can like pull those and fly those into enemies and stuff while you're fighting them. So it's got a pretty cool combat system. The style is very Namco, Bandai Namco. It's anime. That's all they make now, which is great. They make great games, but all their games are anime. It's so interesting. They used to make like Ridge Racer and shit. Now it's just like fucking.
I mean, that was kind of anime too, but yeah.
Wow, it was realistic looking. It just had the chick on the cover always, but it's pretty cool. I'll definitely be picking it up. I saw it. I'm like, I'm more interested in Tales of Arise. I'll wait for that to come out. But I kept seeing on Twitter everybody going like, oh, the combat in this game is actually like a lot. Like a bunch of people were like, I didn't think this game was gonna be that great, but the combat's awesome. I'm like, well, if you're saying that, if everybody's saying that, that's pretty much where I'm at. So I might as well try it. And can confirm it's pretty neat. So I don't know much about the story. Obviously, I'll explore that more when I play the game. But demo's cool. It's available now, so check that out. And then also ESO. Been playing ESO. I've been playing ESO almost nonstop since my vacation, which was like 2 weeks ago. So like I've been playing almost only ESO all the time, every day. People are like, let's play this. I'm like, I'm gonna play ESO. Like, well, let's play some multiplayer. I'm like, ESO's multiplayer. You can play ESO with me. So yeah, I've been playing it a lot. I haven't put this much time into an MMO in a while, which is great. I've been wanting to find an MMO where I got kind of hooked to it, and this has been doing that. I think it is because I can just kind of hop in, do some shit, and leave, or I can really invest some time into it. I am playing a DPS necromancer, more specifically a stamina necromancer. So I'm speccing all my stats into stamina because I'm a high elf. I have perks to magicka. It balances out. I don't have to put as much points or any points at all into my magicka. I'm putting it all into stamina. I am dual wielding, so I'm pretty much playing an assassin style character. I'm attacking quick, doing crits and stuff like that. But I have all this necromancy I can do as well, which is pretty cool. I can put down like a circle in the ground. It's like something graveyard where they take frost damage and debuffs them, and I get to fucking stab them and shit. I also have a move, I forgot the name of it, but you essentially summon a skeleton that comes down the ground, and he kind of sits there and gives them a hard look and waits for a little bit. Then he flies at somebody and blows up, does damage to everybody. I kind of use that like a missile. I'll like run in at somebody and I cast him, and then by the time I'm swinging, he's flying in and hitting people. Does pretty good damage too, so I get the delay. It's a really cool mix. I'm not super in love with him, but I like him. I think he's a fun character, especially when I start leaning more into the melee combat. I started liking him more and kind of accenting that with the necromancy. But yeah, I got to level 50 with him, so I've hit the max level. I'm moving into champion levels now. I think I'm like 40, champion level 40, which has been really cool to explore. As soon as I unlocked champion points, I was like, man, I wish I had these this whole time. I'm like, nah, it's actually cool that this is something you unlock at the end. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially badass points from Borderlands. As you level again, you start unlocking champion points, and you get to spend those into 3 trees. One for crafting, even though in that crafting tree there's a run faster passive that I'm just putting all my points into.
Gathering.
And then, oh yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. There's a fall damage one too, so exploration probably. And then, there's one for, attacking, and one for like, I forgot what it is. Magic maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so you're putting points into those, and you get points for each one of these trees individually as you play. It's just like, you got 1 point for this, you got 1 point for that, on top of, you got a skill point here, all this shit, and you're just running around exploring, adventuring, and getting all these points and make your character better. Which is cool, because I was wondering, as the enemies scale with you, there's never a time where you feel like you walk into a zone, you start just murdering shit, which is very Elder Scrolls feeling. Outside of Morrowind, that was the best one. But Oblivion, Skyrim, you never felt like you were like the best, because everything just kind of scales with you.
Yeah.
So I was like, in this MMO, how do you become like, godly? How do you do like an older dungeon and just run through it? Well, I think this is how you do it, because I think they scale with your level, and after that, it's these points that make you excel.
Give you the edge.
I'll play with people in dungeons, and most of the time it's like a normal run, but sometimes I play with people that are wrecking shit. I was like, how are they doing that?
I had to do a quest where vampires were coming in swarms, and I was in a group, and we died, and they called for help, and this one guy just showed up and was pretty much God.
I wasn't God, but I was that guy one time. I was running through a field, and I'm like level 50. At that time, I had like 26 fucking badass points. And this guy's running. I look behind him. There's a giant chasing after him. He's a world boss type thing. And I was like, I wonder how much damage I can do. So I like run up to him. And I just like spank him on the ass real quick with my sword. I'm like, bah! I did a little bit of damage. I'm like, I could fucking kill this guy. So I start hitting him, and then the guy stops running in the field, turns around, and comes running back. He starts casting spells at the giant. I'm like swinging at him, and like he'd start hitting me, and I'm just like siphoning fucking health from him. And the guy's just casting, and the third guy showed up, and the fourth guy showed up, and I was like, I got to be that guy. Yeah. I got to be the guy who showed up and like fucking kind of like helped out with this situation.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling.
Yeah, because I saw that guy, and he was like half dead. I'm like, oh fuck. And I started hitting the guy, maybe even distract him, and then we ended up killing him, which was pretty dope. Yeah, so I have Stamina Necromancer. I'm level 50. I'm doing like 3 different storyline quests right now, so I haven't beaten the main story, I don't think, which is pretty interesting. The story's interesting enough. Definitely dives into lore. I'm loving the exploration of all these, like... I don't want to talk about Skyrim too much because I know a lot of people love it. I'm not the biggest fan of it. But it's essentially just Viking shit. It's Viking shit. I forgot what Elder Scrolls is because of Skyrim. Exploring ESO, I'm like, oh yeah, fucking Elder Scrolls has all this really cool architecture and all this really cool armors and all these ugly as fuck races. They're all ugly, all of them, and I love it because it's almost like this darker fantasy. Khajiits are like these creepy cat people. They're not even like cute cat people. They're like fucking mangy and gross, and they're like, hey. And then, like, Argonians aren't these, like, cool dragon lizard men. They're, like, these frumpy-ass, like, lizard people. Like, hey, blah, 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 I swim really well. And then, like, all the humanoid-type characters are all, like, these, like, dumpy-ass medieval-looking people. And I forgot how much I love Elder Scrolls because Skyrim kind of, like, ruined that for me. It's just everything's snow and Nordic houses and
you could be God,
Viking stuff, and you could be God and stuff like that. And so I've been really enjoying the exploration in ESO and going back to Vardenfell. Dude, like my nostalgia was fucking. I didn't spawn there. I found out later some people spawned there. That was the beginning for them, and I was like, oh, I didn't get that. So like when I ran there, I was like, oh my god! And by memory, I like ran to like Balmora and Saidneen and all these places, Vivek and stuff, and I'm like, this is so fucking cool. So that's been really neat. I need to explore Blackwood. That just came out, and I think that does like the Oblivion stuff, and has added Cyrodiil, I think. So I want to go check that out. It's added companion system. There's 2 companions. I'm looking forward to unlocking them. You can like level them up on their own. You can dress them how you want. You can put them on whatever mount you want. You can decide if they're DPS. I almost said necromancer. Fucking healer or tank.
You can decide if they defile the dead.
And they have a system where they judge you. So if they don't think you should be killing people and you kill people in front of them, they'll get pissed at you and stuff. So it has kind of that Elder Scrolls BioWare vibe to it. Sounds pretty neat. There's only 2 of them right now, though. I'm sure they'll be expanding on that, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, overall, I've been really digging ESO. It's got all the beats of MMOs that I like. I'm doing my random dailies. I'm doing dungeons. I'm leveling up. I'm getting gear. But it's also scratching that itch of like just playing like an action RPG. So it's kind of hitting a lot of different beats there. Been playing with some people, but mostly just soloing, which is fun because the game's kind of built for that. But also playing with people super easy. And yeah, anything else to report? Got a bunch of mounts. Those are all pretty cool. Been training my mount speed and my stamina up on my mounts because when the game starts out, your mount runs the same speed as you pretty much. So it's like, why would I use this? But you can increase that. Also have a Dark Elf Dragon Knight who I really enjoy playing. The combat is action centric, so playing like a melee guy running in, hitting people with a 2-hand sword is really dope, and having all these fire moves. And then I have a High Elf because I made him when the game came out. I should be a lot more rich. I should have a lot more money if I made that game. When the game came out, I made a High Elf sorcerer, and that character's still there, level 11. So I'm keeping them around, playing them. So I have 2 High Elves. Although I have a bunch of race change and class change tokens or something from the years the game's just been inactive for me. But yeah, I have that sorcerer. I'm gonna pretty much make them into how most people make the sorcerer, into having a bunch of minions and stuff. And I really want to make a archer rogue type character. I think it's the next thing I'm gonna do. Can't wait to play with you guys too. The dungeons are pretty fun. You can definitely tell the earlier dungeons and the later dungeons, because I was doing a lot of the dungeons. I'm like, these are fucking accessible. Like, you just come in and you kill the shit and you leave.
That's MMOs, man.
And then, like, they're the boss, you just hit them and then they die. And then later there's actually some stuff I had to look out for. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Even when you were playing 14 a little bit, I remember most of the, like, Aroma Born dungeons, you were just like, oh, whatever. And then, like, you tried some Heavensward ones, you're like, these are way more interesting. Like,
yeah,
that trend keeps going.
Yeah, same thing here.
Yeah.
Some of the later zones, I'm like, oh, yeah, this game's been out for a couple of years.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's been out since, I think, 2014.
Yeah.
Which is wild, because I forgot it existed. And now here I am playing it, and I think it's a really good MMO.
There's no new MMOs.
Yep. That's actually the reason I started playing it. Just thinking about how there's no new MMOs and how I've played all the MMOs. I'm like, I haven't really played ESO in a long time. Maybe that game still sucks. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's okay. I played it. I'm like, nah, it's pretty fun. So
His game.
yeah, it works. It's working out for me. But yeah, I could talk about ESO forever. I will update at some point, whenever the next Tastecast is, my adventures into Blackwood, because I would like to talk about, maybe I'll just do an episode where I talk about my experience with Blackwood, since it's relevant and just came out. And oddly enough, a lot of people play ESO. They're all on console for some reason. Everyone's like, I want to play with you. I'm like, well, I'm on PC. They're like, oh, I'm on console. They're all on console. Everyone I know who's not like immediately within my circle, all play on console. So, and you can't play together. There's one thing they should fucking work on. It's get those to work together.
That's gonna be tricky.
I know it'd be rough. Just do it. Shut the fuck up and just do it, because that would be huge.
I feel like it's because the PC version has mod support.
Sure. So figure it out. Don't let that be the wall and be like, well, it's got add-ons. Sure, fucking let them play with their add-ons. Let people play on console without the add-ons. Figure out a way to make that work together. It's whatever. But or take away the add-ons. I know a lot of people be fucking pissed about that, but people on console aren't playing with add-ons. And I don't give a fuck about add-ons. Playing as intended. So
agreed.
It's like back, I was bitching about the other day. Back, every time I get into WoW, as soon as I install that game, I get back into it. Someone's like, oh, you should play with us. I'm like, I'll play WoW, I guess. I install and people are like, okay, you got to download this add-on, this add-on, this add-on. This is the standard. This is how you got to play WoW. And I'm like, okay. And then I install all of them. I'm like, yeah, it's quality of life shit. It makes sense. Like, I get why you have all these add-ons, but I'm like,
it's kind of unfortunately
so weird
for that game, though.
It's so weird that, like, you have to modify the game to make it playable. So, but I had
That's the dev's fault, though.
I had to download shit to make Dark Souls on PC work when I first played that. So,
yeah, that kind of stuff. And I'm not picking on WoW. That developers in general.
ESO.
That's an issue.
Add-ons. Yeah, and they're cool add-ons, but they're like, this tells you where everything's at. I'm like,
yeah.
I get it's a games as a service. You've been playing it for years. It makes sense if you're on your like 56th character and you're like, I just need a map that shows me everything. I get that, but for me as like a new player, the idea of just like having everything told and shown to me and people just giving you shit and all that stuff, it's not interesting to me. So I'm gonna wait on the add-ons. I'm sure I'll download them at some point, but I'm not. This is why, long story short, this is why I'm like, I don't give a fuck, get rid of the add-ons so people can play together. I think that'd be much more beneficial. But I get people would be very upset because they're used, this is the game now for them. It's like taking away features if you took that away. So I get it. Yeah, games I've been playing. That's it. Let me know in the comments, what games have you guys been playing? What games should we be playing? What games are you excited to play? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. What are we doing in this episode? Oh yeah, we're talking about a game called Palia or Palia. I don't know how you say this. Please let me know in the comments. Unless Chris knows. Have you heard anybody say it?
I do not.
All right. So this is a game that's been making waves. I've been hearing about it. People on our Discord have posted videos on it, and I have avoided it to be able to talk about it. So we're going to watch a video that's going to show off the game. But before we do that, I want to get an idea of what the hell this game is. So this is via rock, paper, shotgun. I skipped the beginning because he just kind of does you know, whenever you look up like recipes on the internet and they explain like fucking they grew up and their dad used to take them to a cabin, they go camping, and they just like really rustic. Is this playing the trailer for me? There's like really rustic food and all this shit. I'm like, just get to the recipe. That's pretty much what they do in this article. So we skip that part, and I'm going to read this, and then we'll watch the video, and then we'll talk about our impressions of the video and what we think of the game. So yeah, via Rock, Paper, Shotgun, this says, Palia or Palia, I'm just going to say Palia from now on. Palia's developers are explicit about wanting to provide a cozy play experience that's as much about creativity as anything else. The game's press release talks about a flexible fashion system and the ability to become an award-winning cook or the best gardener in the world. I'm unsure how these activities link to its multiplayer elements or exactly how massive an MMO it is. The press release also mentions a social matchmaking system, suggesting its world will be instanced, but I don't know if you'll be gardening together or merely jogging with bows and bug catchers as per the video, which we will watch. Is it an MMO or is it just co-op? That's exactly the question I asked. Stardew Valley with strangers and a better update pipeline. The Temtem of farming. Palia is being developed by Singularity 6, a new studio founded by veterans from Blizzard, Epic, Riot, Zynga, and Sony. And that's quite the pedigree. Side note, these companies are so large and employ so many people with such low staff retention that basically every new studio you hear about is founded by former employees of these same companies. That's actually a really good point that they're making. I'll give it to them. Normally, I don't read articles and go, "That's a good point." That is a very good point, though. There are so many people in these companies that when they're like from the developers, blah blah blah. Well, who?
Yeah.
Were they like a lead designer?
Yeah.
Or were they like the guy that's like, all right, just make sure everything's organized for us in the back?
I made things red.
Yeah, I'm the guy who makes red stuff. So anyway, it's worth thinking about. However staged it may be, the trailer is cute. I feel that we're not talking about that. So we have an idea that they don't know if it's going to be a full-on actual MMO, a traditional MMO, what me and Chevy would just call an MMO from back in the day, or if it's going to be like a modern multiplayer game or co-op game. So that's kind of interesting. Let's watch the video and we will talk about it. You got the video ready, Chris?
Yep.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, go. It's got a nice, clean art style. This is not me saying about this game. I'm honestly sick of colorful, cartoony-looking games. But it is good looking. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of Dauntless, Fortnite.
Yeah. The shapes are very much reminiscent of that.
Yeah. The robot design was cool looking though. I do kind of appreciate that the game isn't like musically swelling and just like epic. Like it's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna hang out with chipmunks and hang out with robots. It's gonna be delightful.
We're getting strong vibes of like all those free-to-play ad games of like, Temmie's Garden and Sarah's House and
Yeah, no, I agree. Like when they said people from Zynga came over, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
oh, look at all this decorating you can do. Oh
Yeah.
no. Go away.
You're too tall for this house. Gotta go somewhere else. Go fishing somewhere else. So we got people running together to go catch some stuff, hang gliding. A robot with a fishing pole, so I'm assuming we're gonna go fishing. Jane Silent Bob game?
I see that too.
What the fuck is that? So yeah, welcome home. Ain't no home of mine. Pre-alpha starting soon. So yeah, we watched this. What'd you guys think?
Definitely a slow living game. I think you kind of nailed it with the...
And so for anybody who might not know what that is.
Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, just kind of kick back and do menial tasks.
Animal Crossing.
Essentially, yeah. Not meant to be stressful. It's meant to just kind of chill, which I'm a huge fan of. So that part of this game has me completely interested.
It looks chill.
Yeah, I absolutely love that.
Kind of reminds me
Side note, they're adding in Endwalker 14, there's going to be a mode for slow living that they're adding.
Really?
Yep. You get to have a little farm, and you can have your minions run around it and stuff.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of RPG like though. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's completely up my alley. Anyone who maybe has watched the channel, I've played a shit ton of Animal Crossing. I do have a history with Harvest Moon, so Stardew Valley. Yeah. So big fan.
I always love the idea of them. I just don't play them.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I think multiplayer is definitely a nice touch, though. You know, goals wise, you're making up your own goals, I would assume. So like,
Chick is dressed like a Jedi.
the multiplayer is, you know, obviously more of a social thing, like, which is cool. For Chris, I see. I won't speak for you too much, but as soon as I saw the decorating, I immediately was like, "Oh, Chris is going to be into that." And yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. Honestly, the only thing that's a huge turnoff that makes me hesitant is sadly the way it looks. I'm not a fan of the dauntless Fortnite style of visuals.
I'm just gonna be straight up about that. I don't like it.
Animations are super smooth. The graphics are very clean. They do look good as much as they also look very sterile. But as long as the game is fun, that's really something that doesn't matter that much. So
100%. I'm trying to be as blunt as possible about that, but also I want to be clear. I think the game looks nice graphically. I think the aesthetic looks good. I think the trees and the wind look great.
It's very nice looking. Yeah.
Everything's really good looking. I just think aesthetically, like not aesthetically, design wise, the cartoon look. Maybe I'm just fatigued on it. Maybe if we took a break from that, went back to everything being ultra gritty, brown and gray, I'd get sick of that as well and welcome this again. But this obviously is a look that a lot of people are going for, and it's obviously meant to just attract as many people as possible.
All ages, for sure.
But if the game is good, this is not something that would deter me from playing.
100%. Yeah.
Because it's not bad looking. It's just not preferable.
No, and the animations are great.
Yeah, it's quality looking.
Even like putting that map up there and it folding that way, like it's got the tech stuff. Like it's all there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested. I'll probably sign up for the alpha, to be honest. So
yeah. Definitely. Chris?
It does look like a very fun and easy to get into game, but I have to, echo those concerns you guys have about the art style of it. I too am kind of, and I usually really like bright and colorful things, but the shapes of everything in this game really, I'm tired of that, like you said, that fucking Fortnite look to things, that dauntless look of things.
You know what my biggest problem about it is? It's not even the world that bothers me, it's the character models. And specifically because the character models are the same looking. They all are low texture, smooth faced, clothes. Like you can have it cartoon looking and still add detail to it. I know they do it because it's easier to develop. You can get shit out faster. I think the world looks great fucking in what we're looking at right now on screen.
Also ages better.
It ages very well, yeah. All that stuff, because a lot of older games from back in the day that were just kind of basic cartoon looking games still look good now. It's when you try to get realistic that doesn't age well, because the better looking games nowadays outdo it. But when I'm looking at her face, she looks like fucking every other character in any game like this. There's nothing defining about her face. When I make my character, they're going to have different color hair than you. That's about it. Maybe the face will be a little rounder or a little like thinner or whatever, but because you're lacking so many details to what makes people's faces so identifiable, it just is kind of meh. It's like, do you want to drink something that tastes good or drink some water? Because the character models are just gonna be like drinking water. It's like bland.
Yeah. Well, at that point, all the characters mesh together too. Like you can't really identify anybody.
I mean, like that blonde guy, that agent that everybody talks about from Fortnite, he would fit into this game just fine. Yeah. And that character, if you threw them into Fortnite, I wouldn't even be able to tell it was from another game.
Yeah.
I just be like, it's a Fortnite character.
Yep. And it's just, I'm just sick of it. If you told me this game was a mobile game, from the looks of it, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a mobile game.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
Just everything overall, even just like how they display like how the home building and stuff is, it looks, and like I said, I made that comment earlier, it sounds like one of those Millie's Garden type games where you play fucking Tetris to unlock points, to unlock stars, to unlock carpet type game. But that's not what's being displayed here, but that's just the general feel I get from but I like the idea of it. I like these slow living games a lot. I spent a lot of time in 14 doing fucking housing and glamming my characters, like a lot of time doing. So it's right up my alley. It's just aesthetically, I'm not thrilled.
There's a bunch of people in comments that I've been reading saying like, so you pretty much took all like the crafting and stuff out of MMOs and took the like action out of MMOs, and it's just an MMO with just like that basic like housing, and it's like they took like half the MMO out of the game when this is an MMO. I get where they're coming from. I think it's pretty funny, but it's really just a Stardew Valley style game. So it's just with hopefully more people. When they say MMO, I don't know how many people we're talking about here. Because games like this are no stranger to having people play with you. There's other games like that where you can play together and kind of like take care of your house, stuff like that. Up to like 4 players or whatever. So how many people are we actually talking about when we're saying MMO? Like what? Because that word means almost nothing. It just means online game nowadays. And
I honestly wonder if they're going to handle it like Destiny 2 does, where everything's kind of like
that's what
multi-layer instanced.
I think they'll probably be like your house will be instanced and your neighborhood, and maybe you and your friends can all be together. Boom, maybe you go into town or out in the fields, you'll run into other posses or groups or people by themselves, which would be kind of cool because it would make the world feel alive.
For sure.
I still have a problem calling that an MMO, but because it's just an instanced experience then. It's a cooperative game. But that's, regardless of my thoughts on the terminology, that still sounds cool to me. It sounds like a game I would want to play because it adds life. You get to run into other people. If you're playing this fucking game, you're probably pretty like-minded because you're not going to probably run into much assholes in a game like this if they're playing long-term.
Well, so you know what's great after an 8-hour day of work? Not having to like stress out about something. So like,
well, the idea of having this persistent world where you're working towards things and there is no like, we got to go do the raid or do the dungeon or whatever. It's just like, what are you working on? Oh, I'm working on my house. It's Animal Crossing. People have been buying fucking Switches in Animal Crossing for over a year now, nonstop.
20+ million.
Just to every time somebody buys a Switch in Animal Crossing, that hit me up, every single person fucking hit me up and they're like, what's your friend code? I'm like, I don't even fucking play the game really. Like you can have my friend code, but like even if I play the game, I probably won't play with you. You just kind of visit each other anyway. So to actually have like a game that's set up like an MMO where you can play together and work towards goals together, stuff like that, go fishing, all stuff, sounds fucking neat.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds like a cool, relaxing end of the day after work. Fucking, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna go fuck around and fish.
And well, and seeing like the hang gliding thing, I really hope there is a huge focus on social features.
It's needed
because then you'll want to hang out.
Even like older free-to-play MMOs like MapleStory and shit were like social, and that's why they got so fucking big. The gameplay was like whatever.
Yeah, but
like
you got to hang out with people.
Hang out with their friends online.
Ragnarok Online.
PSO, like Ragnarok, all these fucking games that back in the day, all cartoony looking. They're the biggest benefit to playing them was the social aspect. You get to hang out with people.
Yeah.
So that game needs to nail this. For sure, and I think they'll do well because people obviously love Stardew Valley. They obviously love, me played time at Portia or Portia, however the fuck you say it. Graveyard Keeper, whatever the hell. There's games like this, but not to the extent of being this 3D MMO world, which would be kind of cool. Animal Crossing, but it's kind of limited in the sense of like you just kind of check each other's shit out.
Yeah, it was a huge misstep because they had multiplayer in previous versions.
Huge if you could live on the same island and do all the same shit together.
But yeah, systematically, 100% interested. So
yeah, I don't remember because I said a lot. Did I interrupt you? Were you saying something? Okay, I was like, how did I get here? I'm just on another lot. I drank an energy drink before this. I'm drinking a second one right now, so I'm just fucking.
I'm gonna need a second one soon.
I'm on it. I've pretty much expressed my thoughts on this. I think the game looks good. I don't prefer the style, specifically the character models. I think the world looks great. I think the robot's actually kind of a cool touch too. He's neat looking, and it adds kind of an element that's not just like every other game. Just like my time at Portia is like post-apocalyptic. It's like the end of the world, after the end of the world, and everybody's just living peacefully. And I'm like, it's so weird to see all these like old remnants of buildings and shit.
So much quality of life stuff though.
100%. It's so stiff and weird to play. But it was kind of neat. But yeah, the idea of playing with your friends and doing this kind of stuff, if they nail pretty much what we've talked about, I think the game will do very well. Because there is, for some reason, that exact formula has not been nailed yet. Nobody's done it. So if they do it, it's going to be very popular. It's got the style. It's pop. You know, the colors pop. People are going to notice it. It's got a simple name. People like to hang out and do stuff like this together. There's a lot of potential where this game could go, and I hope they nail it. They got to nail the multiplayer part, though. They got to nail doing full functionality with each other and social features. I didn't care as much about meeting new people as long as I can just co-op play with my friends. But being able to run into other people, however they're going to do that, however they're going to go about doing that, I think will be very cool. Cool added little feature, but not something I need. But the functionality, the way that they present the multiplayer, and be able to build up your house and dress your character and do all this shit and go farm and hopefully farm together would really sell this game. Like, I'm actually kind of excited about the game I'm creating in my head right now when I'm talking about this. And I hope this game's that. Like, I hope they just do exactly what I'm saying. Because that does sound very fun. It's a game I would definitely play.
Yeah.
In a more relaxed stage, just have it installed. If something's on, I'll hop on with them. I mean, games like Minecraft are already kind of like that anyway, outside of the, you know, having to go to the nether and do all that shit and kill things and survive. But you can still kind of like, you know, have a farm and work together and build stuff. And, you know, having a relaxed game where that's just what the game is. There is no element of danger. I think sounds cool. I'd like to see more games like that, honestly. There's a fucking dodgeball game that came out recently that everybody's saying is amazing. IGN's like, this is one of the best PvP games ever made. And I'm like, that is fucking ludicrous. But what's it called? I don't remember. But
that is a weird thought.
Something, Knockout City or something like that. I don't remember.
Good for them.
But it's a game. It's a fucking dodgeball game. Like, you grab balls, you go, whoo, and it goes tunk and hits them, and like you hit them 3 times and they get eliminated, and you can pick up your friends and throw them at each other. But I was looking at that, I'm like, they did the Splatoon thing. They made a shooter that's not a shooter.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. It's like, I'm not advocating that we need less violent games or whatever, because I love violent games. But I also like variety.
I say variety is flavor.
Like,
so.
gameplay is key. Make a fucking fun game. It doesn't matter what the hell you do with it. Just make it, like I've said many times, like, obviously graphics. I love graphics. I love tech. But you can make a game where you're like cubes, and you just control the cube, and 100%. And you shoot cubes, but it had cool gameplay features. I'd play the fuck out of it. Doesn't matter. Like, the gameplay matters. So
yeah,
it's kind of cool to see games. Long story short, going back, I'm going off on all sorts of things. The idea of making this casual, chill, fucking farming, build up your house game, throwing dodgeballs at people, shooting paint all over squidbillies and shit. It's interesting. I'd like to see more games kind of explore this that aren't these, like Chris was kind of, you know, worrying about a little bit there, which I agree with, without being some kind of like weird Farmville Zynga fucking Facebook mobile game. Because I don't want that either. That's not for me. If you're into that shit, if you play that shit a lot when you're younger, or when you're 86 or something, because I know a lot of old people play those games too, it ain't for me.
It also kind of, bringing that part up kind of concerns me with their plan to make money with this game.
I hope this game's fucking premium. If it's free to play, I think it'll ruin the game. People play it, I won't.
Yeah, I think,
unless the free play is that good,
hopefully it'll be, though it's looking like it'll probably be a free to play game.
It looks free to play.
Pay to enter, and then if they're gonna do microtransactions, make sure they are not taking away from the experience of the game.
Cosmetic, half the game's cosmetic. Hopefully, I get to buy all my clothes and buy my houses and buy all my decorations.
I say it's a little money. It's a little tricky because the game's emphasis on decoration and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to speed up your farming? You can give me real money. Oh, you guys are fishing. You can do that, but you could catch way better fish if you bought the bait. That's way better. The sparkling one. It's colorful.
Yeah, so that
spend real money on it.
That's my big concern, obviously.
Speed up chopping trees down.
Yeah, monetization. So
don't take any of these fucking ideas. I won't play your game.
Yeah,
these are not good ideas. They're good ideas if you want to rip people off, but I'm smarter than that. I ain't playing that shit.
Yeah, honestly, just release, like you said, a premium product, and then maybe expansions
packs, dude,
or something.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. Make a game I'm digging.
Access to islands or something.
Like if this game's even half of what we're saying, I will buy it. If it's fucking 30, 40, 50 bucks, I'd buy it just to check it out. And then later be like, hey, there's all the content you spent money on, Also, there's a new region you're going to be able to build houses in soon. You'll be able to buy that.
Yeah.
New stuff to build with. New fucking decorations. All this stuff comes in this pack, or these DLCs. This is the Fisherman DLC. It adds like a whole new way to go fishing, stuff like that. You don't have to have it, but you could buy it if you want it. That's okay. That's cool. We're adding vehicle DLC. I don't know. Like
something. Yeah. It's hard to
compartmentalize
say.
the game. That's fine, but
You're gonna, because the game is so not combat focused, that it's literally the type of game where the stuff you're offering would be the deal or the microtransaction stuff for combat games. So
yeah,
it is going to be a tricky spot to not feel scummy. So.
Yeah.
but what if they just made like a premium game, like we're saying, with expansion or DLC stuff that's fair, no pay to win bullshit, and they did 75% of the stuff we want from this game. What if they just did that? You'd buy the game.
Yeah.
You'd enjoy the game. You'd look forward to buying more content for the game. People would be happy. They would trust the developer and want to give them their money.
Yeah.
That would be great. I would just love that scenario, but I feel like it's not going to happen.
We'll see.
I hope it does.
Yeah. That being said, I'm gonna go sign up for the alpha, so because I'm curious.
Yeah, I want to check it out for sure. It looks fun. Chris, any last thoughts?
Just if you're gonna make things that are like get this cosmetic, because like you guys said, it is so focused on the cosmetic appeal of the game. Make it so I can at least earn it in game as well. But obviously it's more difficult, but at least give me that option.
It's so much more fun to achieve things in games.
Agreed.
Than to, I guess, achieve that you worked in real life, or somebody gave you money in real life. You achieved that, and you're able to exchange your real life labor for in-game stuff. But what the fuck are you even playing the game for then? Like, I miss the days, and some people still do it, and it's great. But I miss the days of like playing the game and unlocking shit and being excited about that. And be like, yeah, this is dope. Or, oh, fuck, you got that thing. You must have did this. Yeah, I had to do this for like hours. Oh, it's sick. Yeah, it was rough. Like, that's such a better experience than going like, whew, you fucking, you spent the $20 on that, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, just
no one's proud of it. There's like, yeah.
The hard part about that is that you get a pretty large amount of people who are like, well, I want that too, but they don't want to put the work in. But they're willing to go complain, and then the dev just sees that complaint. So.
And they go, well, we could get their money.
Yeah.
They're willing to pay for it, so why not? Which in some sense, I don't care that much about. But at the same time, in a game like this where there is no combat, and it's just like, aesthetic stuff, the idea of like monetizing that, and this is all speculative. I want to be clear.
Yeah, we're just talking.
We're just talking. Yeah, this isn't info we have. The info we have put into this episode is what we got. But yeah, to monetize something like this, to make it free to play, I think would be not the move. Because all the great free to play games, they're all action games anyway, but like they really kind of like toe that line of like, what do we offer for real money, and is it fair, and how much content do we offer people without getting their money?
Even premium games get backlash. I mean, not to get too
most
into
Ubisoft games,
but TBC or the Burning Crusade came out and it has boosts, and the community threw a fit about it. So
oh yeah.
So it's tricky, man.
Yeah, it's rough.
Well,
so yeah, I have the same concerns. I wouldn't say necessarily concerns because I'm not invested in the game,
right.
But it's hesitancy. I'm hesitant as well for the same
well,
reasons.
it's just a thought. Like how do they plan to make their money, right? And I think that's important because it's really easy to advertise something, but like what's going to happen when you're playing it. So hopefully it's just a good experience. That's what I want. That's what we always want. So play a good game.
So do you want to play it, Chris? Are you interested?
I want to sign up for the alpha, the pre-alpha, whatever it is, but I'll just make my judgments there from what they show us from alpha and beta and things like that.
Yeah, maybe you'll play and it just sucks. You're like, well, I guess I don't have to worry about this. Like, it looks fresh, it's clean, you could decorate your house, but like your character moves like shit, fishing sucks, and like
like fishing anyways.
Farming's lame, and fucking you're just like, oof, I'm not spending time here. This ain't home for me. I know it said it's home, but it's not. This ain't home. That'd be great. One less game to worry about.
Fair.
But we want things to be good here at Taste Loop Gaming. We want all games to be good. So, anything else you guys want to say?
No.
Let us know in the comments what do you guys think about Palia. Are you excited or not excited? Is there any info on this that you have that we don't, that you can maybe clarify some info and be like, hey, it's actually this, it's going to be premium, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about? Well, it's a general conversation.
You're right, we don't.
Yeah. And yeah, are you excited for this? What kind of features or things do you want from a game like this? What do you hope they don't do? And what do you think about free-to-play games and how people handle them? Let us know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right, so before we jump into your guys' comments, make sure to type in hashtag STLG in your comment if you want to be featured. Otherwise, I pick at random. I want to talk real quick about a thing that people are talking about right now. And we don't have to go too long because I don't want this episode to be fucking super long or whatever.
I don't think I have much to say about it anyways.
Sure, I just want to get you guys' thoughts on it. So it's been revealed recently that Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, and Gran Turismo 7 are cross-generational games. So they're being developed for PS4 and PS5. This is disappointing for a lot of people, and some people are very angry about it because these are not the PS5 exclusives that they were hoping for. And they are essentially worried that, you know, if you're developing a game for PS4, it's not going to realize the full potential of the PS5. And then, of course, people who want to play console wars try and hold it against people who have PlayStations because they're like, ha, you only have actual next-gen games. And I'm like, yeah, but your console doesn't have any games. So, like...
Those people don't matter.
It's, yeah. So, just throwing out some of the arguments I'm hearing. So I wanted to get your guys' take on what do you think of these games in the first year of the release of the PS5 coming out for both PS4 and PS5. And then I'll have some stuff to kind of throw in there to kind of maybe get some more thoughts on it. What's your general thoughts on that? Does it deter you? Does it upset you? Are you kind of worried about that?
I don't think I can't think of a single console I've bought where the first year was like banging.
Well, that's true. I 100% agree with that.
So, like, it has gone exactly how I expected it to go. The only thing that really is a huge difference here, regardless if we're talking PlayStation or Xbox, is there's a global superconductor shortage and an incredibly high demand for electronics. Across the board, not just gaming.
Not even just
cars, refrigerators, whatever. They cannot make enough chips. So, we're all dealing with it in some way. Mm-hmm. So,
well, and so with COVID, but also I don't know if I can say it on YouTube. I feel like
can't.
So anyway, with 2020 happening, you have there's already going to be a shortage because anytime consoles release, there's always a shortage. But there's also a shortage because of 2020. So for that reason, developing for both makes sense because you're not leaving people behind on the PS4 and developing for the PS5 at the same time. But also, regardless of 2020, a lot of times you do have these generational games that come out, or at least are made for both consoles at the same time. You do, of course, have games that are made only for the new console, which we already have gotten. But this would be a thing regardless on almost any transition of consoles. That's not me defending or attacking anything. That's just me stating.
Par for course.
Just stating something to expect. So just inserting that.
Yeah. That aside the point to talk about the specific thing you've mentioned, I think the more people they can get those games, more people to get to play those games, the better for them. It's not like they're going to make a bad game unless they do, in which case then don't buy it, right? So more people being able to play God of War is a good thing. They make more money, they make another God of War. God of War played amazing on PS4. I don't know why you think it wouldn't play amazing now. And they can give it PS5 version things still. That doesn't stop them from making a PS5 game. That company is big enough to make two versions of one game. If a person can make a game for PC run on a huge spectrum of hardware, why can't they do it on console?
So this is the thing that me and Josh talked about. I'm not going to express his opinion for him, but he was of the mindset that he didn't understand why they with PS2 and PS3 and PS4, they did release games early on, and he brought up the point that there's more PS5s in the wild now than there was PS4s when they came out, which is a good point. My thing that I brought up was we had cross-generational games with like the Xbox 360, with the King Kong game that came out. It was on both consoles, and it looked like shit on one and looked great on the other. Those are two separate games, though, made for two separate consoles, because the proprietary technology in the PS3 is not the same as the PS2, not the same as the PS4. This is the first time, specifically for Sony, but for a lot of consoles, where you essentially just have two PCs. The SSD, of course, is proprietary. That's for memory. That's for loading shit quickly. Yeah. That's for accessing data quickly. But you're still able to make essentially the same game run on two PCs at different graphical levels, and you can turn off technologies like ray tracing and stuff. So the kind of, not necessarily the counter, because we weren't debating, we were just kind of discussing it, but my point was this is going to happen. I'm not surprised by any of this. Yeah, I assumed Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok were going to do this. I didn't know Gran Turismo 7. I assume they're going to do it because they can. It's not because they can squeeze out more money from more people or worry about the PS4 people and make sure everybody gets a game. It's because they can make the same game run on two different things at different levels of graphical fidelity, which is something that is modern. That's something that they had to make separate. They had to make the Wii U version of the game and the PS2 version of the game, but the Xbox version didn't run the same. They had to make different versions of these fucking games, and now they can make the same game run on all the PCs at different levels or whatever.
Yeah.
So that is something to put out there.
Even feature stuff, right? So like the controller for PS4 as an example, or even the ray tracing stuff. Games. It can look at PS4 to PS4 Pro and turn on a game, and the PS4 Pro options were grayed out for you because you just didn't have access to them. They can literally still do that. So those things can just be locked away if you don't have the hardware for it.
Yeah.
So
two things I want to insert as well is that I'm saying they can make a real PS5 experience and a PS4 experience on the same game, just, different settings for both consoles. Doesn't mean they will either, though.
100%.
Some people could get lazy and just fucking throw the PS4 version onto the PS5 and not put a lot of work into the PS5 version, or make a PS5 version that doesn't run good on the PS4, which would be a real dumb mistake, a certain company that did that. As much as I love that company and the games they make, that was stupid. So that's definitely a thing. But also, as I'm inserting this stuff to just have the fair conversation that I think a lot of people aren't having, am I disappointed that I'm not getting a only developed game for PS5 in Horizon Forbidden West, God of War, Ragnarok, and Gran Turismo 7? Like, these games weren't built from the ground up for PS5, which inevitably would make a better game, possibly. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed with that for sure. I'm on that, but it does not not disappointed in the sense that I'm upset these games are going to be on both. I don't give a fuck because I know they can achieve both. I just am. I knew I was telling people for the first 2 years of this console, you're going to be getting a lot of these games that are kind of on for everything. That's always how it's been, especially with companies like Ubisoft and all the big companies. They want to make sure they're casting their net everywhere. They're taking advantage of the new hardware, but also making sure people in the past can play it. And fucking PlayStation has always been about like 7-year cycles, 12-year cycles of their consoles. The consoles are just out forever, and they make sure everybody can play them or whatever. And I do definitely want the games made specifically for the PS5, but it's unrealistic to assume that they would jump in fully within the first year or two, possibly. I knew they were going to do stuff like this. So when I hear about it, even though I would prefer, I'm 100% on people's side on that, I'd prefer it to be a PS5 game, 100%. Just PS5. Because they be developed from the ground up for that. They're thinking about PS5 and not thinking about PS4. They're thinking about everything there. That's part of the development. I'd prefer that. There's no surprise here for me.
Yeah.
This isn't anything new. This isn't crazy. The only thing that's new is that they can do it better than they've ever been able to do it. Because these are essentially PCs. They're glorified PCs. And if my high-end PC here can play ray tracing maxed out better than the PS5 can, and then my second PC back here can play the same fucking game without ray tracing and the graphics are like medium, they're going to look very different. Very different experiences. So, and we can do that with the PS4 and PS5. And by we, I mean us, because we're developers.
Yeah. And I got one last thing to throw in that I pretty much put in my opinion on this.
Yeah, I was going to wait, but I was like, I got shit to say. I got to get in this.
Maybe it's because I'm getting older, or maybe it's because I have access to multiple devices. But I just want to play a game. I don't care if it's a full-blown... Like, is it a treat to get a full-blown PS5 game? Sure. Do I need every game to be that? No. No, I don't. Yeah. I just need to be able to, like, is this game fun to play? Is it worth my money? Is it worth my time? Those are the factors, right? And I'm going to buy God of War. And it's probably going to be great unless they somehow mess it up. I'm going to buy Horizon. And it'll most likely be a great experience, like, unless they screw it up, right? And in which case that was going to happen anyways. So, I don't know. It's such a weird thing, and I think part of it comes down to the same reason people have these this versus that conversations all the time, which is not everyone has access to everything, and so they need to defend the thing they did put their money into. So.
Yeah, I don't know if that works directly for this, but I mean, I 100% agree with that because I preach that. But fucking, anyone on PS4 is not going to complain about this. Sure. They get to play the game too.
Also, there's millions of PS4s out there.
And people on PS5 will get to play the games too. Yeah. So really, nobody's getting fucked here. It's more of like...
They didn't get their tasty treat.
It's disappointment. It's like, oh, I know my parents are going to buy me that N64. I'm going to wake up on Christmas Day and I'm going to have that N64. I fucking know it. And you wake up, I know I'm dating myself just talking about the N64, but I'm thinking about that kid.
We can go further.
I remember that kid picture where the kid's screaming with the N64. And then you wake up and you open it up and it's like maybe an IOU or like, oh, we got you a Sega. And it's like, fuck, I thought I was getting this. Well, why'd you? No one told you were getting that. Fucking. So I think it's mostly a disappointment thing. And like I said, I'm everywhere on this. Logically, I'm not upset because it's not a surprise. I assume this is going to happen. It just makes sense. But am I disappointed? Fuck yeah, because I want some hardcore made for fucking PS5 games and the beginning of the console cycle is never the best. The games always get fucking crazier and better. The games on the end of the console cycle are miles ahead in every way, graphically, gameplay, all that shit, than the beginning of the console cycle. So this early in the console cycle, people being upset about things when it comes to like power. I remember too, almost every time a new console comes out, people always talk about like, this is going to take advantage of the PS4, the PS3. This is the best the Xbox 360 graphics can be. I'm like, no, it's not. The console just came out. They haven't fucking fully realized how to make games for this yet.
The devs haven't become wizards yet.
Unreal Engine 5 isn't standard yet. Fucking that's only going to get better. When Unreal Engine 5 first came out, it looked like this and it ran like this, and now it runs even fucking better and looks better now. That's all evolving as the console's out. I'm never super excited for the early games of a console because they're not the best that they're going to be. So... I mean, I would like if they just delayed fucking God of War Ragnarok and released it like 3 years from now because it's going to even better and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Or hopefully they release another God of War before the end of this console cycle.
They got time.
Yeah, they got time for sure if they're releasing this early. Or hopefully we get another game by Guerrilla by the end of the console cycle. Maybe we're getting these early and everybody will be kind of disappointed that it's not like the full potential, but then hopefully that gives them time to make the full-on, no bullshit, no excuses, PS5 fucking game or PS5 Pro game by then that's going to be insane and we're going to forget about this whole thing. But for people to be like, super upset about it, which I've seen some people pretty fucking angry about it, and then people who are into console shit talking shit over it, I think it's like most things that we talk about on the show, because we try to be, fair-minded about things. I think it's wasted energy and effort, and I think it's at the end of the day for me kind of illogical. And that's not to be an insult. I think some people just don't stop and think about things. I think they just hear something and they get upset with everything. I think people just hear something and fucking, I had a bad day. I'm gonna just lay into this thing I'm disappointed with.
I'm gonna hit up the Twitter.
I'm going to hit the Twitter up and fucking get crazy. That's what it's for. It's just the toilet of the internet. And that's where you let shit rip. But Is Chris okay? I thought Chris
He was sitting very still.
very still. I was like, is he gone?
It was crazy.
Yeah. He's probably just waiting to get his swings
Thoughts
in
out.
here. He's gonna be like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. This is horrible. I'm so pissed. Which should be fine. Let's have that
The
conversation.
guy without the PS5. So
Yeah, as a guy without a PS5, I'm fucking pissed. This is not
Coming
a
to
PS5 only game.
coming to PS4.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
So
I mean-
yeah, hopefully my opinion and Chevy's opinion on that is pretty clear because mine's very nuanced, and I think yours is as well. So yeah, Chris, what are your thoughts on that? Now that we've just kind of spilled.
Here's the deal for me is that getting access to a PlayStation 5 has been incredibly difficult. Even currently, it's incredibly difficult to find access to one. I know people have been getting them more and more frequently, but still, it's a slog just to get even to see one available within 5 seconds. They're gone, and I'm not paying the eBay price of $1,500 for a PS5. You're out of your fucking mind. So I think Sony realizes that this is an issue, that they can't get their consoles out to everybody like they would. Like this is unique for me because I usually wait a little bit to buy a console before once they release a new one, and it's usually not a big issue, but it's still an issue. So I think Sony realizes that this is continuing to be an issue. So they're going to develop their games for both consoles to not alienate their player base, which financially is a better idea because you're keeping that player retention of the greater mass of people who don't have access to this newer console. Yeah, it sucks for people who have the PlayStation 5. They're not getting every little like maximum hardware accessibility from their games, but the consoles are like that even now. Like you still have games that like still don't touch the deepest depths of the graphics that your consoles can access to until way later in the console's life cycle. So that they're making games available for both systems, I think, is the smart move. Eventually, they're not going to do that anymore because the consoles, the PlayStation 4, is going to be old, and everyone's going to have access eventually, hopefully, fingers crossed, to a PlayStation 5. So this is going to be a non-issue in the future. Right now, it feels kind of just like temper tantrums of like, well, I got this exclusive console and no one else has got it. I want all my stuff now. Mm-hmm. It's frustrating. I understand where they're coming from. I understand, you want to see the full potential of what this fancy system that you have exclusive access to can do, but it just doesn't make good business sense to make it limited like that. And it sucks. Like, I'm kind of miffed that the Final Fantasy VII is not going to be added to PlayStation 4, the new one. It's only going to be a PlayStation 5. You have Final Fantasy VII Remake on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 already. So what's the big difference? Why can't you put that on
incentivize
PlayStation 4?
people to hop over to PS5?
Well, I mean,
if you
I
can.
would if I could get access to it,
Yeah.
but I fucking can't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating. It's so frustrating that just because there's super limited of the superconductors and things like that, something out of my control, that I can't get access to something. It's so infuriating.
That lack of
It's so
access, though,
frustrating.
is also beneficial to them because it builds hype. It's negative hype, but it makes people want it.
Nintendo's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Sure.
One thing also that is not the exact same, but it's kind of similar, is like Xbox released 2 separate versions of their console. One's a lesser version. It's better than the last gen of consoles, even the Pro versions, but it's not as good as the current gen consoles either. You don't think Microsoft, their games that they're making aren't planned to run on that and their next gen console and on PC inevitably, because all their games are just on everything for different specs of PCs? They're pretty much doing the exact same thing, not to the same gap of power, but they're still developing. They're stuck developing games for the S and the X. Whereas, like, eventually, PS4 will get retired. And I'm assuming the S will get retired at some point, too, but by then they'll probably be streaming their games a lot. Or the S will just be streaming the games that they can.
So different.
That's their plan, yeah, but they're still developing games that have to run on both.
For sure.
So any game you get for the X is going to be a game that's developed to also run on the S. Because it's the same console, but they have different specs.
Well, and PC at this point.
And PC, yeah. So they got to make it run on everything. So they're doing the same fucking thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's literally just people on PS5 being upset. And I get it. I'm disappointed too. Not angry. I get it 100%. But yeah, it's not a PS5 only game. But there's nothing happening now that's like really worthy of any greater discussion other than going like, that kind of sucks. That's it.
Yeah.
That's about as far as I think it should even go. There's people really fucking pissed about it. There's like articles where people are like, this is why it's a fucking problem and all shit. I'm like, it's not.
It's not even remotely a problem. You're just being brat.
You're still going to play it and fucking like it. It's just not going to be as good as you want it to be visually. It's going to run at fucking 60 frames per second. It's going to have a performance mode. It's going to have a fucking ray tracing mode. It's going to be better than what the PS4 can do. It's just not going to be as crazy amazing visually because it didn't start from the ground up as a fucking PS5 only game. But it still has the ability to be a bigger gap for the two consoles because they're essentially fucking PCs, and the PS5 loads shit way faster, so they can get crazier with it, and you can have it on the exact same game. And there's games that are like a fucking Call of Duty Warzone. They're like 100 some fucking gigs. There's a lot of info you can put in that, and a lot of that info cannot be on the PS4. I mean, there's literally the only thing limiting in this situation. The PS5 being like an amazing thing outside of, like I said, developing only thinking about the PS5, which the creativity aspect of that is a factor. The only thing limiting that is the fucking developers.
Yeah.
If Horizon Zero or Forbidden West comes out and looks like shit, which we've seen it doesn't, and it's not going to look like that on PS4. If it comes out and looks like shit, that's because they didn't put the effort in to make the PS5 version graphics better. Just like on a PC, I can turn it down or turn it up. Same thing here. It's the exact same thing. It's on the developer. If they don't do it, it's fucking that's their decision, and they didn't put the work in.
Yeah, the only other thing I was going to add is imagine loving something and having
I can't
it be less successful. Like I just don't understand that. Like why wouldn't you want it to flourish?
It's like people in MMOs that chase people
MMOs
off.
are
I'm like, what are you doing?
one. Online games
people
in general.
Not enough people play this game. It's fucking dead. You don't like this game? Like, what the hell are you doing? Just don't play those people. Don't talk to them. If they suck, fucking try and get a ranking mode or something.
I want that game to succeed.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be so good.
More people who can play it, awesome.
I don't want this, but if God of War Ragnarok came out on PS4, it would still be great. I'd still buy it and love it.
Yep.
Like,
of course, there's obviously that part who wants it to be as like epic and grand as possible that it can be, but at the same time, like, they're gonna make a fun ass game with a crazy story. So
honestly, this is just me being a fucking nutcase, I guess. But the one I'm most disappointed about is Gran Turismo 7. I wish that was just a straight up PS5 game.
Racing games are pretty much spectacles anyway.
I know. So I like wanted to build from the ground up. When I heard a new Gran Turismo was coming, I was like, fuck, finally, I'm so excited. But also I'm like, this is a next gen game, dude. This is like
they can still give it haptic and stuff though.
I know. We've made this argument. But like still, if it's just from the ground, and I heard last minute they made that a PS4 game. So they're able to fucking crank it down for PS4.
They're PCs.
Yeah, that's the point. But at the same time, if they just started, and I think they did, but if they just start going like Gran Turismo 7 is going to be a fucking PS5 game, let's make this fucking crazy and really utilize the power of the fucking PS5. That's what I want. Yeah. But like I said, I heard they decided that later, so they literally just went like, will it run on the PS4? Just turn down the lighting, turn off the ray tracing.
Make it not 4K.
Run it at fucking 30 frames per second, which will suck, but, whatever. It's playable, so, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Can't they just patch that out in the future anyways? Like make a PlayStation 5 patch to up everything?
They could. They've been doing it.
So I don't see what the issue is.
They don't even have to do that.
We're living in a magical time where there's a lot of freedom to handle this however the fuck you want.
The devs can literally have it in their plan when they're making these games. And it's not like when these games are starting to be developed, they didn't know PS5 was coming out. Sony told them.
Yeah.
They can literally go, okay, here's the plan. We have to make this, right? It can literally just be part of the plan. It's not like when they decide to just tack something on. Like, they've had time to think about it. Now, if they do tack it on, that's their fault, and you should let them know that. But I haven't seen these companies specifically do that. So I currently just have faith that they're going to have good products.
If they don't, act accordingly.
Yep.
You gotta go in the moment. People are too busy worrying about the sins of the past, or fucking worrying about how they're potentially gonna get fucked in the future, or thinking that the person they love so much, the developer, is infallible and will never treat them wrong, and will never get consumed by corporate greed. Just never happened with any developers ever.
Nope, never.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Chris?
It's just a non-issue.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I should have just explained the
just a bit.
situation, and then you just say that, and we just move on to the next
It's
topic.
just such not a thing that should
I
be.
just think the conversation needs to happen because I'm not seeing
Yeah.
it. I'm not seeing anybody having this conversation.
Wow.
I'm
No one's
seeing,
having any conversations.
Sure. That's what I'm trying to offer here. But and obviously I invite anybody watching this to comment politely, if you disagree, or if you agree, fucking let's have that conversation. Add some points in. Throw like, this is an open conversation. If there's something that we're missing, just add it in there. Like, hey, just think about this. 100% open to that. It's just when you start getting fucking crazy on me, then I start getting crazy. It's fun, but not productive.
Leave it on Twitter.
Yeah, go to Twitter and do that. But yeah, it's just, I just see people, and that's the problem with Twitter, but other places as well, YouTube, stuff like that, in the comment section, which
YouTube can be pretty bad.
Horrible. Twitter's the worst. But it's because the limited amount of things you can type in, and everybody there's just trying to signal to the people that follow them that they're all on the same team, and they all cheer each other on and shit, and that's all the point of it.
Circle jerk positions.
Yep, 100%. And so the conversation for this, as soon as it was even announced, was all negative. Even the people who were like, I'm okay with this, they found a way to fucking jab at those people and attack them. And I'm like, this isn't a conversation, and nothing gets achieved from this. You're literally just drawing a line going like, we're not on the same team. Fuck you. That's it. And it's like, okay, are we even talking about the subject? What's the pros and cons? Is this something we can survive? Like, fucking, what the hell's going on here?
Bro.
Yeah, it's so dumb. So dumb. It's like 8-year-olds. Except for sometimes I see their pictures and they look like they're my age.
Still 8 years old mentally.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those. Anything else? I feel like we've covered this pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Just chill out, guys.
Not our community. Our community is great.
Yeah, you guys are great.
If you're not part of this community and you want to be, hit the subscribe button. You can join this. We can have these conversations that we do. Yeah, but if you're somebody who's stopping by to check this out and you want some rage, wrong place. Yeah. Just chill out, dude. Fucking, that's the big thing, dude. With everybody, I'm just like, just chill, calm down.
I'm too tired for you.
Just sit down, man. Calm down. Enjoy all the things you like. Don't look for the things you dislike.
Play games for fun, goddammit.
Yeah, that's what I do. Sometimes I play games for the channel that I don't like. That's still fun for me.
It has a different fun element to it.
Yeah. With that, let us know in the comments. Let's anybody else.
No.
Let us know in the comments. What do you guys think about this situation? What do you think about Horizon Forbidden West, God of War, Ragnarok, and Gran Turismo 7 being developed for PS4 and PS5? What do you think about the prospect of that in general? What do you think about that? How that correlates and compares to how it's been done in the past? What do you think about it in the sense of what I kind of brought up with the Xbox Series S and X? Because even though we don't have examples of that, aside from every game ever on those consoles, what do you think about how that affects development? What are some pros and cons to developing purely for the PS5 as opposed to two things? And what are you hoping for when it comes to these games and other games? And yeah, do you think it's too early to be discussing this for a new console, or do you expect perfection when new hardware comes out? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. Okay, it's that time again where I say okay, and we read your guys' comments and reply to them. If you'd like to go to the front of the list at Disneyland, Tastyland, you can type in hashtag STLG on your comment. Otherwise, I pick a random.
For the Fast Pass.
Yep, you get the Fast Pass. So we reviewed Zero Escape, the Nonary games, for Game of the Month, and then we got to pick, or randomly pick, Minecraft. We discussed that game. If you don't know what it is, you should just go watch that video, because it's an interesting conversation. We didn't know what it was either until we played it. And yeah, the person who voted the shit out of that game for the community pick had an opinion that they expressed. Stick says, I feel like I wasn't on the high of, is it I or AI? The Somnium Files, these games have the craziest names. The Somnium Files and visual novels at the time, I likely wouldn't have picked this, referring to the game we played. For community pick this year, I will, and I'm glad you're already planning on it because it's coming soon. For community pick this year, I will still pick unique game experiences, but likely nothing as narrative driven. 999 I played on DS is way more enjoyable without the voice acting, as I had voices in my head for the characters. The second one, Virtue Last Reward, improves everything except the escape rooms are largely similar in difficulty and has an absolutely amazing voice cast, which is cool to hear. However, it is a relic of the time, and it was the first visual novel type game I have played. I do believe Danganronpa, AI, the Somnium Files, and 13 Sentinels, which I do own, are better starters for a more narrative experience. I think the best recommendations would probably be 13 Sentinels. I own it, since it has an amazing story, fantastic visuals, phenomenal voice acting, and a fun real-time tower defense-esque battle system. Whew, you sold me on that game. I mean, you did sell me on I own it, but tower defense. I don't really regret picking this, but I do think it doesn't work with the format, and I won't lie, I was dreading when it would come up, especially since I am no longer on the visual novel kick. Before I ask you guys what you guys think of this, if you have anything to add to that, I just want to say thank you for picking it. Yeah. Even though our impressions were all over the place, make sure to watch that episode. I'm not going to reveal them here. It was very cool to have a game that we otherwise probably would never have played on the channel. I like having these conversations and expanding our view on games and stuff like that. We play a lot of types of games here, so it was very cool for you to kind of insert that. So the dreading thing, I get where you're coming from, because you're like, oh shit, this is even relevant, blah blah. But definitely don't dread, dude. I was stoked when it got brought up. I was stoked when it got put on the list. I was stoked when it got pulled up, because I was like, fuck yeah, we get to play something like I would never play otherwise. So yeah, any thoughts you guys have when it comes to all this?
I mean, really, I'm just gonna emphasize on the I guess the dread part, or the line where you said you wouldn't have picked. I think one thing we always say, specifically with like the PlayStation Plus games, is sometimes we're given games that are outside of our comfort zone and our wheelhouse.
NBA 2K.
And and though I would never play that on my own accord, the reason to push me into trying something outside of my comfort zone is an enjoyable experience, even if I don't necessarily enjoy the game itself. Mm-hmm. I think it is an important thing, because maybe it'll be the one, right? And out of the three of us here, I did end up liking the game. Did I love it? No, but it was fun and I enjoyed my experience with it. So
I like the story.
Yeah,
I like the visual style.
So
watch the episode.
Yeah, definitely watch it. As far as the other two games you mentioned there, because one of them is a sequel, I believe, right?
It's a sequel to this game.
Yeah.
Virtue's Last Reward.
Danganronpa is literally all over the internet all the time, at least in...
I know what the fuck that is. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it has very cosplayed characters. And then 13 Sentinels, when that came out, that was also all over the internet for a little bit. So I definitely know those. I've been hesitant to try Danganronpa just because... some of the community I've seen around it. So, but if you're saying it's good, I'd be willing to give it a shot.
It's like fucking.
It's just a little over top for me. So,
God, Dead by Daylight's community. Those motherfuckers are goddamn horny.
Well, I think all communities have that problem.
They're real bad. They're real bad. On Twitter, fucking Dead by Daylight, the Twitter will come out and be like, how you guys doing? They're like, woo! They start posting pictures of people getting fucked and characters in the game they want to fuck and all these like half-naked pictures. Everybody just goes nuts. And nobody in there is going like, this is weird. Everybody's like, fuck yeah. Everybody just loves it.
Degenerates.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like going down a back alley and everybody's just doing drugs and getting crazy and fucking. I'm just like... What is this?
I don't generally click on comment sections very often, so I don't know in that regard. But I do know that the game has been in a weird spot for me. But yeah, I mean, if it is a cool game, I would be willing to try it. I do know a lot of people love it. And then 13 Sentinels, I heard nothing but good things about. So
yeah, I played for a little bit. It was really neat. It's on my PS4, and I keep forgetting my PS4 is here. because I have a PS5 and PC. I should probably just install my PS5 and just it'll be there.
I moved everything to my PS5, so
I got a gigantic hard drive. I could probably just plug it into my PS5.
you just plug it in. Yep.
Yeah, never mind. I fixed it. Chris, any thoughts?
I just kind of reiterate what you guys are saying. Don't be afraid to suggest it. It's a community pick game, so it's a game that you enjoyed playing at whatever point in time. Don't be afraid to put it up there.
Yeah, we had someone trying to make us play a fishing game.
Yeah, what if they're like, this game fucking sucks? I'm gonna get them to play it, and then we talk about it, and that's fun.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of it. Is it's us to play games that we don't, like you said, we don't normally play, that we can discuss about it in objective manners. So don't be afraid to suggest things. And some of us enjoy it, some of us didn't. That's how all games are going to be, though.
Yeah, 100%. I always like it better when we don't all just agree on something. But then sometimes Chevy's just like, I'm going to give this an A. And I'm like, you too, huh? Fuck yeah, this game's dope. But if we're down the B and C range, if he's like, oh, it's a B, I'm like, yeah, me too. I'm not like as excited. But if it's like, this game's so good, it's an A, and somebody else is like, it's an A, I'm like, hell yeah, validation. I love it. Everyone does. That's how humans are. I think it's interesting though that he's even talking about like in hindsight, essentially, like he at the time was super into that game and games like that, and as he went on, he's like, I'm not really as crazy about that right now. Is it even relevant? So I get that. We have to update the list all the time too when it comes to game of the month. We'll look it up every once in a while and go, is that game something we're even going to be playing now, or the sequel's coming out soon? Why don't we just add that? We do it all the time. So I get that mentality. Luckily, the two runner-ups for our game of the month have both been picked. They're not on the list anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So we freed that up. You guys didn't have to wait too long. So that's kind of nice. But I get the mentality of where you're at. And then also thank you. In the episode I asked if anybody had recommendations of games like this that we should play. You had like 4 of them. So very cool. And I own one of them. The Somnium Files, though, I don't know anything about that. I need to look into that. And Danganronpa apparently has a bunch of degenerates or something.
I didn't say that.
I think I said that about Dead by Daylight, and I just kind of think they're all the same now.
Now you're assuming.
Yeah. I'm very happy to hear that that Virtue's Last Reward improved everything and has an amazing voice cast. That's very cool to hear. Also, 13 Sentinels I've heard nothing but great things about. So you even bring that up, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So yeah, thanks for the game recommendations and the game that we played, and yeah, can't wait to see what you pick for our next game of the month for the community pick, which is coming up very soon. But Chevy gets to pick next month.
Yeah, and the random game we got was the one I was planning on picking. So
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, better start thinking of something else.
Yeah.
Or pick Minecraft. Fucking, I mean, that'd be kind of boring for people
how
watching.
When that month comes.
But you can pick whatever the fuck. Anything we've already played, whatever.
Maybe I'll force you to beat Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, you could pick Final Fantasy 14. I'd have to play it. Thank you for the comment. And moving on to the next video, we reviewed Battlefield 5, Wreckfest, and Stranded Deep. I've started putting review on these videos because people who don't know our system don't know what Game of the Month or Plus Club is, so maybe they'll look at it and go, oh, they're going to review those games, and we do, but they're going to be surprised when sometimes we don't beat the whole fucking game. Like, why are they reviewing this? Well, we played it. That's our system. Anyway, we reviewed those games for Plus Club for May, and had a great conversation over on Reddit, although it was a holiday, so it was a smaller conversation than normal, but I get it. But we got some comments over here. One of them being from Maneki Neko saying, I keep doing a double take as I'm listening, like, what the fuck, where's Seth? Because for anybody who doesn't know, I blew my voice out, and I wasn't able to talk as well as I'm talking right now. I'm like at like...
You're not even at 100% right now.
I'm not even at 100% right now either. Yeah, I have like a little bit of resistance in my throat. But I could talk way fucking better than I could then. I was sitting there going like, hey guys, it's me. I promise it's Seth.
Podcast listeners are like, liar.
Yeah, they're like, who the fuck is this guy? They ever play Seth? They took him out back and shot him? Communist did it. But yeah, so this is communist.
Why is this a theme?
The communist from ESO. Chris brought it up. I keep doing a double take. Yeah, so yeah, that was me.
Yep.
I'm just glad I can talk. It's so...
No deep fakes here.
You guys know I like to talk, so fucking... It's very nice that I'm almost unhindered in that regard. And then Rob says, hyped to watch this episode. I played Battlefield 5 a while ago, so I didn't really play any of the Plus games this time. Interested to hear you guys' thoughts. because maybe then I'll go back and play them. Let me know if you did. I'm glad. I love anytime someone says that they're excited for something we put out, because I'm like, that's dope. I fucking love that shit. But hopefully you did watch that, and maybe you went back and played. Update us, Rob. For a second I thought it was like Rob, but then I saw the picture. I'm like, that can't be Rob.
That's not Rob.
That's not Rob.
That's Rob, but not Rob.
That's a Rob, but not Rob. And you don't want to be Rob. You just want to be Rob, so it's a good thing. Anything you want to add to any of that, Chris? Okay, moving on. Thank you everyone for the comments.
Yeah.
And your boy's voice is back.
Mostly,
yeah. I watched a video for Dying Light 2, Stay Human. Make sure to go watch that if you want to see my thoughts on that. Spoiler, I'm very excited. And we got some comments from Nick Raintree saying, super stoked for this. Now I want to rerun the first one. I'm in the same boat. We got one from Mr. Gremlin 737 saying, in quotes, he's explaining the shit like it actually happened. He's been in development as long as he thinks it's actually happened. Fellow survivor, let me explain to you what's going on. Laugh my fucking ass off. Yeah, the guy explaining the game to the girl in that video, he was like looking around and looked worried and shit. He's explaining the story of the game. I'm like, has he been working on this game for so long? It's like this story has just become reality for him. He's like, listen, we gotta get the fuck out of here, man. When it gets dark, we're all gonna die. And I was like, dude, this guy needs to calm the fuck down. And then we got a comment from Amelia. Welcome back, Amelia. I haven't heard from you in a while. Saying, I'm so excited for Dying Light 2, Stay Human. I love the first game for its open world design, atmosphere, and gameplay. I'll probably get the standard or deluxe edition as I don't want to spend $300 on a game that I don't even know if it'll be any good or not.
Fair.
I feel like the game's gonna be pretty good though. I'm just saying, like, if you don't spend that $300, you could probably spend it. Lost Judgment is my most anticipated game of 2021. As a huge Yakuza and Judgment fangirl, you are too, because you and like one other person were talking up Like a Dragon a shitload. I was like, I gotta play that, and I played it. I'm like, I fucking love this game. So definitely, you got to play Lost Judgment and let me know and sell it to me. I replayed Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice recently. I missed one trophy on my first playthrough years ago. That would drive me crazy. I platinumed it with this second playthrough. Congratulations on that. And then I've also been having a blast with new Pokemon Snap.
I still need to pick it up.
Me too. I've been loving Nier Replicant, though. Need to play more of that. Been upgrading some of my PS4 games to their PS5 remasters, like Metro Exodus Complete Edition, Greedfall, Gold Edition, Judgment, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Neo Collection, Mortal Shell Enhanced Edition. Was that game any good? Mortal Shell? New Pokemon Snap was my go-to game while I was hospitalized, which first and foremost, I hope you're doing better. You actually replied to this and explained what happened. I'm not going to share that because that's your information, even though you did comment it. But I'm glad you are doing better. That's horrible to hear that you were in there, but at least you had, and I said this in my comment, but at least you had time to play Pokemon Snap. If there's any silver lining to being hospitalized, which sucks. And we definitely are hoping you make speedy recovery and are feeling better.
For sure.
Anything you guys want to add to that?
I need to buy a memory card so that I can pick up Pokemon Snap.
This comment reminds me that I need to make a purchase.
Yeah. I also need to play all the Yakuza games because I've only played one.
It's a little bit. That's a lot of game.
It is a lot of game. That's the. So I'm staring at a mountain I have to climb, and I'm just like, do I feel like doing this right now?
Yeah.
So
it literally what it is. Like, I want to be up there, but I gotta climb up there.
So I'm hoping I can find time to do that. I did buy 1 through 6, so I am looking forward to playing them at some point. But that game does look cool for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Did you play Nier?
Not yet.
Oof.
Dude.
Big oof.
I bought it.
I played it for an hour and a half and loved it, and I just didn't play it anymore.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I was like, guess I'll play something else. This is the curse of my life. And Dying Light 2, you already know my opinions on, but I'm very excited about that game. I kind of, my hype for it was muted because they also were muted on the development of it, and then they came out and like, hey, not only is it actually being worked on still, we did this whole fucking spectacle to show it off and explain it, and it comes out this year. And I was like, holy shit, I can't wait for this game.
Yeah.
Also want to play Pokemon Snap, but haven't bought it. Chris, thoughts?
Well, first of all, hope you're doing well, like everybody said. I didn't play Dying Light, the first one, so the hype for me is not there. Zombie survival games, from what I've seen of this game, it would probably stress me out pretty hard.
It's got multiplayer. It's got loot.
Oh,
Seth will definitely play with you.
Seth will definitely play with you.
that would ease the tension for me quite a bit. But I also want to play, or I need to look into Pokemon Snap more, because I played the original one on N64 back in the day. To date myself here, but I had it and I played it so much, like so fucking much back in the day.
I've only heard that it's good.
So
That's cool because I haven't heard anything about it.
I've watched a couple people stream it too.
Nothing good or bad. Nothing. No one's talked about it. So let me propose a question to Amelia. Does it have the content to merit buying it? Do you love it? And is there enough there to play? Because the original game was pretty short, but you replayed it because there's all the shots you didn't get, and there's the secrets.
You
And,
literally didn't have time to get all the shots. You had to
exactly.
Go. This game, I think, is similar. But
and there's all
you
these
definitely answered.
there's all these like things you have to look up. Like if you do this and this guy will show up, and it's like, oh shit, I want to see that. And it's kind of a cool thing I miss.
I got a selling point for you. You can throw apples at Pokemon.
So I want to throw apples at Pokemon.
Sometimes
Donk
they
them
get
in the
mad at you
head.
for
In
doing
fact,
it.
if I saw a Pokemon in real life, I would be like, "Does someone got a fucking apple, dude?
Yeah.
I need to hit that."
Do you
thing
want
with
to?
an
Do you want to
apple.
eat the apple, or do you want to ignore me and then I'll hit you with one?
I'm gonna hit it with the apple, and then it can have it. It's a trade-off. I get to throw the apple. It gets to eat the apple.
I just need one pumpkin-sized apple, please, to throw at things.
Damn, I'm
was-
going big.
It's depending on the size of Pokemon.
I need a car-sized apple. So I can throw at that Gyarados.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? All right.
No.
Hopefully you're doing good, Amelia, and we'll hear from you again soon. And thank you everybody for your comments. Moving to the last video where I watched Horizon Forbidden West. I keep wanting to say Horizon Zero Dawn 2. That's not a game. It never will be. Horizon Forbidden West. The game is coming out on PS4 and PS5, and it looked fantastic. I talked about that. Watch that if you want to see my reaction to it. I ran into this weird thing that I've never almost ever ran into in my life. While looking at myself, looking almost confused. We'll scroll down. I'm just like staring at myself like, is that me? The graphics are amazing. They're almost so good I was confused looking at them. I was like, is that CG?
I still haven't watched it.
Is that CG? I was looking at it. One thing that's kind of weird, though, that happens in the cinematics most of the time, but then it kind of happened a couple times in the gameplay, and this is something I think only me is. Only I am going to have this fucking issue. It's not even an issue. I'm so stoked for this game. It seemed like if you're I just want to hold my camera real quick. If you're like fucking bumping your aperture down to like 1.4 and you got a shallow focus area, it seemed like she's in focus and everything was like blurry behind her. I don't know why they did that.
Huh.
Like it looks weird. Like the game's really crisp and clean looking, but like she's in the foreground, everything's blurry, but then like every time a character talks, everything's blurry behind her. But even during the gameplay, it seemed like she was like separated from like the background in a really weird way. So it's probably just like a bloom effect or something like that, or whatever they're doing for that kind of tech. That was the only thing I kept looking at. I was like, that looks weird. But it's not bad. The game's amazing looking graphically. But
Yeah, I need to watch it.
that
still.
one
haven't
thing,
watched it.
it's hard to explain. But I think I'm the only person who's even going to see that and go, what the fuck? But very cool looking game. Make sure to go check that out. We got a comment from Jeremy that says, Horizon Zero Dawn is a game. I almost just stopped there. I really, really, really want to play. It's one of those games I am completely blinded. Never checked stream or anything. I never had the chance to try it before, but now I got my PS5. Horizon Zero Dawn is on top of my list besides Final Fantasy 14 and Demon Souls Remaster.
a good
Liar.
list. It's a good
Liar.
list.
Because he just beat The Last of Us Part 2. And not to speak for him, but he loved it. A lot.
He's got the list.
He told me top 5 games of all time. Last was Part 2.
Big claim.
It's a really good game. So he beat that, and now he's on to Horizon Zero Dawn, Final Fantasy 14, allegedly, and Demon Souls Remaster.
He plays during normie hours, so I never see him. But
Yeah.
Normie hours. He's a day walker.
yeah,
Oof. It's that time difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good list though. All those games, definitely check them out. You have the PS5, so play Soul or Demon Souls for sure.
That game is a visual treat.
Yeah, and it's just fucking it's dope. It's that game, but great graphics. Like that looks like a next gen game. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, definitely play the shell of that because that game's a lot of fun and the story's fucking sick. I actually really like the story of Horizon Zero Dawn. I think it's very creative, and that's hard to say for a lot of sci-fi stuff.
Also, it's good pacing. So
good pacing, yeah. My biggest complaint is like not Aloy. I think Aloy is a cool character, but sometimes she's just a little too quick on the. Oh yeah, well, like anyone's
too
like
snappy.
Yeah, she's a little too on point when it comes to like comebacks. Like the writing is a little too cheesy for me because someone would be like, "We're gonna kill you." She's like, "Oh yeah, you think that? Not me. You're not gonna kill me. I'm gonna kill all of you," and then you do it. I'm like, well, she was right.
Was she gangster now?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like she always just has some kind of comeback. And I'm like, do you always have to say something like that? But yeah, she's a cool character. The whole game's great. Chris, any thoughts?
I have also not played Horizon Zero Dawn and had many a chance to play it.
Especially since it's on PC now.
He's got a PS4.
And I have, and they gave it away on PS4 as well for free. So I got it. It's there. The thing.
It's just sitting there. It's right there. It's definitely a game. All right. Well, hopefully you get a chance to play all those games, and definitely let me know what you think of all three of those. I'm curious about your opinion. We got comments from two comments I'm going to read. Let's see. From Simon, Writer's Block Randall. First one saying, and they want to get this thing running on PS4. I mean, where's the Switch port? Funny you mention that, because the game is going to be on PS4, which has been a big point of contention that we just discussed.
We've never talked about.
If you skipped that part, go back and watch that. But yeah, where's the Switch port? Let's fucking get that going.
Maybe by the end of the year.
That'd be kind of fucking crazy.
That Switch Pro rumor is getting stronger and stronger.
Oh, it's real, dude. They're going to fucking shut the thing off right before E3. I'm so excited. I'm selling my Switch to get that Switch Pro. Watch that thing have a fucking shortage on purpose by Nintendo. They're making a new console, and they're going to be like, we're going to release it when it's hard to get materials on purpose.
I'll say, yeah, it's a bad time to release anything.
That way, when all these people are like, they do this on purpose, like, well, we did do it on purpose, but there's no chips. We can't do it anyway.
Yeah.
So fuck you. They're the Aloy of companies. They always got a snappy response. Talking shit. Yeah, so Simon Writer's Block Randall also says, obscene if it stays like this, Forbidden West might be the best looking game ever made. The volumetric rays, the shadows, the precision of the lighting, the color palette, the raw texture detail, the faces, the particles, the water, the underwater looks something out of real life nature documentary. The underwater is very good looking. The entire game looks like a CGI trailer. I agree 100% with aperture things that I think are weird. What the fuck? Even the soundtrack is bumping. It is. The gameplay looks solid as fuck too. You get to climb shit, grappling hooks, umbrella, boss fights. The AI doesn't look retarded either. This is pretty much the only game right now that makes me think, yeah, that is next gen. Thoughts? Is that hype?
I haven't seen it.
Is that hype getting you excited?
Me? No. But I'm difficult.
You ain't get Chevy excited?
Hype doesn't really work on me.
What are you even commenting for if you can't get Chevy excited?
Oh yeah, good luck. I do want to go. In fact, when we're done filming, I got to go sign up for an alpha and apparently watch the Horizon trailer on my TV. So.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it in 4K. Yeah, so, I watched it when it got streamed. So.
Yeah. So that's I guess
maybe
my
that'll
plan now.
I hope that fixes my problem so I stop talking about it. Because I keep bringing up, you're like just looking at me like. Okay,
I wonder maybe if it is a resolution thing.
Well, it's streamed. The
streaming
graphic
is weird,
quality is it's compression and shit. Maybe that's. I hope that's it. I hope I can just shut up about this thing. Because every time I bring up, people just look at me like, okay. I'm like, okay, I'm just crazy. Okay, it's fine. I've accepted that.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, I'm glad you're excited.
Chris, this is the best looking game ever made, and that is next gen.
That's sure. If that's how you feel, that's good for you.
Damn, that's just your opinion, dog.
Subjective. Subjective.
What's the best looking game ever?
I mean, I assume it's going to look amazing because now it's 2 people in 10 minutes have said that it's a good looking game. So
it's a very good looking game. But what do you think is the best looking game ever right now? I can't even answer that. I don't even know.
I'll say, what are you asking me right now?
I have no idea.
What kind of best looking? Are we talking technically best looking, or what I feel is best looking, or
is it the most artistically appealing, or is it the most
no, not aesthetically appealing? I mean, the best looking graphically.
Oh,
you look at it and it can't be achieved on lesser things. You need a bumping ass fucking interface experience to render these achievable graphics. Only on Crytek. Crisis is the best looking game ever made.
Yeah, that's probably the only answer.
That game still looks pretty good.
NASA still hasn't figured it out.
Way ahead of its time. The game was so ahead of its time, it took 10 years for people to be able to play it. How'd you make this? I don't know. It was on accident. We didn't mean to.
The engine just kind of did it.
It's from the future.
Yeah.
We went in the future, made this game there, and brought it back here. Yeah, I can't answer. I can't even honestly. I have to think about it. I got a couple things off the top of my head, but one thing I will say though is the best looking PS4 game ever made is Last of Us Part 2.
The only thing that makes my graphics card kick on is Minecraft with shaders.
Best looking game ever. That ray tracing.
My 3080 don't give a shit otherwise, but Minecraft with shaders, fans full blast.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you said. I don't know if I'd say it's the best looking game ever made, but it's definitely one of the best looking games ever made. And now that's next gen. I mean, I think you got a good, even though I think a lot of angry people would argue.
It's going to be on both.
Would argue against it. It's funny because he said all this before that became a thing. And so this is an honest reaction. And I agree. When I looked at the game, I was like, that's a next gen game. And if nobody told you it's also come out on PS4 until the last minute, I don't think anybody would have bitched. So I'll just leave it there. Anything else you guys want to say? That's going to do it. Thank you for the comments, everybody. And yeah, it's going to do it for this episode of Tastecast, episode 100 and wherever the fuck, 43. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on all the social media and streaming shit down below. Discord, Patreon. You can support us there if you think supporting us and commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing for brand new isn't enough. And we are on iTunes, Spotify, and the podcast platforms. If you prefer to listen to us in audio form, this will definitely be there. Yeah. Quick reminder, again, that E3's coming up. It's going to be a shit show. It's going to be crazy. And we're going to be fucking run and gunning when it comes to filming episodes. There will be more episodes. It'll be like 4 times the episodes of normal. But the schedule is dependent on them
and us
when we can film. And if anything comes up, which I hope it doesn't, because most of the time it doesn't. But just letting you know, it's going to be a shit show. And
going to be fun and stressful.
No Taste the Cast unless all 3 of us are just kind of feeling it. So, yeah, my name's Seth. And thanks for hanging out, guys. Chevy, Chris. Until the next episode, you guys, thanks for hanging out. Have a good one, guys, and take it easy.